We all love a legendary comeback, and Degree Original Cool Rush is back and better than ever. Cool Rush isn't just a scent, it's a movement, a fan favorite that delivers bold, fresh vibes and all-day sweat protection. Whether you're heading to the gym, the office, or just trying to stay fresh on a long day, Cool Rush has your back. So if you haven't tried it yet, head to your local Walmart or Target and grab Degree Cool Rush, the fan favorite scent from the world's #1 antiperspirant brand.
Live from New York, it's a show that's congratulating Brew's Uncle Kenneth.
Wow. Thank you, Wilds. Hall of Fame, Xavier University of New Orleans. For basketball. Athletic Hall of Fame.
That's
basketball
awesome.
runs in the family.
Oh, I believe it. Brew was a good athlete.
Oh, yeah. Also, commitment to work. Because if I would have gone down to New Orleans
on a Thursday, you're not making it back here Friday.
I already got a
6 a.m. flight.
Good for you.
Yeah, which is
6 a.m.
risky
flight.
these days.
Yeah.
So congrats, Uncle
Thank
Kenneth.
you.
Uncle
Yes.
Kenneth.
Shout
First
out.
hour of First Things First. Today, Bo booed. But are the Broncos still a threat to Kansas City? We discuss. Meanwhile, Bake Show versus the Drake Show. Who plays more like the MVP in Tampa Bay? Interesting today, both starting running backs out.
For both teams.
For both teams.
Yeah, Bucky
Ramondre
Irving and
Bucky.
Ramondre.
And finally, what's the hottest segment in all of sports? Upset alert with a chaser of Nick's picks. How's Nick's picks doing? Still hot though, right?
We're okay.
I think it's still
It's kind of unfortunate.
How'd you do last week?
On the pod, I give out 5 picks and I pick my 3 favorites for this.
Yes.
On the pod, I went 3 and 2.
Yeah, of course.
But I picked the 2 losers here.
Whenever
so I
he
went
starts
1 and
talking
2.
about the pod,
I'm just telling you.
You know
I'm
the
just telling
one
you.
for the
My
show
wall-
is
You get this
bad.
one, my wall.
I'm telling you. It's just bad luck. I went 3 and 2 last week.
Yeah, no.
Didn't go
Danny's
1
lead
and
is
2.
widening.
No,
In
because Danny's
conversations
been
in
bad
the
as
office,
well.
5-0.
No, I'm not.
Just kicking it around at the bar. Perfect.
Yesterday,
Right. No.
we don't
I'm
give credit
great.
for it. Last night, Brew, I gave out the Raiders
Okay.
and the under. Winner,
Brew.
chicken dinner.
You know, picking upsets, I'm phenomenal with my boys.
Oh, my
you know,
God.
on
In my
Sunday
journal,
afternoon.
guys,
But for some
the
reason on the
podcast
show,
is
I'm
out.
terrible.
It's live.
My dream journal that I write down, I'm at like 85%. Okay, here we go.
I'm actually starting to pull for you, man.
Thank you.
I hope you
I
start
need
winning
a
a few
3-0
of
week
these.
bad. I need
You
it
always
bad.
say that
I
nowadays.
need it bad.
It's like every week. It's ridiculous.
We're starting with an ugly win, 10-7. But 7 straight wins for Denver. They're 8-2. Also booed consistently during the game. Also, the camera kept cutting to people doing the thumbs down. Bo Nix reacted to everything after the game. Take a listen.
We got to do better. At some point, 10 points ain't going to be enough. We got to score more.
What'd you think about some of their reaction, the boos and that kind of thing?
Well, I've been booed before, and I'll be booed again, so not going to be the last time. It's obviously unfortunate. You don't want your own fans booing you, but, it's part of it.
That is a quote from the quarterback of the AFC West leading Broncos. Here are the numbers. Completed 57% of his passes. Expected completion percentage, 70. It wasn't good. I went freestyle the question because you guys weren't on the call. Hey, what's going on with the Broncos?
Well, if I may quote Bruce Willis from the legendary film Die Hard to America watching the Broncos last night, maybe for the first time for 3 hours. Welcome to the party, pal. It's what it's been every single week. And Brew, Wednesday you were here and Wilds during tears was like, you know what?
Yeah,
I think I'm going to believe in the Broncos. And then Thursday, he doubled and tripled down on it.
Ooh.
And then, because here's the deal. There's a lot of football every weekend. And the Broncos are not a super marquee team if it's not your team. And so it's a weird universe where most of the people who are watching the Broncos week in, week out the closest are Bronco fans. And they want Bo Nix to be good. And they want to puff their chest out and be like, when the Chiefs were winning close games, it was all good. And now it's not. The only other people watching the Broncos really closely are people that it's their job or gambling on it or have a vested interest in the Broncos not being good. I happen to check all 3 boxes. I'm gambling on it. I want them to fall back for the Chiefs, and it's my job. And I'm telling you, America, that defense is awesome.
Yeah.
And while I think Sean Payton is a little overstated at times by some members of the media, I think he designs an offense where guys do seem to run open a fair amount. And their quarterback cannot hit him. And the running game is not as potent as they hoped it would be. And they are being.
But it's better. It's the best part of their offense.
No
right
question
now.
about it. No. But if they had a dynamic, if you have a great defense, good offensive line, and dynamic running game,
right,
then you can get away with having what is right now a bottom 5 or 6 production from the quarterback position. And so this is exactly how they played in London when they escaped against the Jets. This is how they played last week when it took a dirty hit to knock CJ out of the game to escape against the Texans. It's how they played in week 1 to beat the Titans. And so they have a great defense, and the defense makes them frisky. But that offense and that quarterback make them. Every other AFC playoff team, Brew, is going to be saying, please give us the Broncos. Of all the available teams, give us them. Because, again, there's not going to be any bad teams in the playoffs. He is going to be the worst quarterback in these playoffs by such a wide margin that you're just going to roll the dice with him.
I wouldn't go that far. Like, I obviously with him, he's struggling badly, and I'll get to him. But because of that defense, like, that defense is playing historically well.
It's great.
You know, what do they have, 46 sacks?
Sounds right.
Something like that. Like, they're on pace to break the record. You know, the Bears record of 1984, which 72. They're on pace, I think, for 78. And obviously, they're getting the guys 5 and 6 times every game. It feels like on average is 4.6. But so for that reason, teams may not be, clamoring to face them in the playoffs. But obviously the issue is Bo Nix. And even you're right with the run game. I mean, if they had like a top level back, then you could just dink and dunk with him, with Bo Nix, and then run your bell cow. Now, J.K. Dobbins is having a good year.
I think he got hurt last night.
Yeah.
And he tweeted about it. He tweeted about a hip drop. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Like 30 minutes ago, he tweeted about the hip drop tackle. And he said, he's like, they either need to flag it or actually outlaw it. This is some BS. And the reporting is he's getting a second opinion on his foot, even though he finished the game. So they have the rookie R.J. Harvey, but it looks like
who hasn't given him as much as they were expecting, because Dobbins was on pace for like a career year. So, but Bo Nix, first of all, I feel like this is the latest example to us to just pump the brakes on some of the young quarterbacks. And I don't necessarily feel that way about Drake Maye because he's been so good. He's big. Like, he has all the measurables. Yes. You know what I mean? But C.J. Stroud, phenomenal rookie year, came back to earth and still on earth right now, after in his 3rd year. Jaden Daniels, the injury is obviously the biggest factor. But even when he was playing, he wasn't like on fire.
Quite like last year.
Right. And now you got Bo Nix, and you rightfully said this is kind of what's going to happen, like a Mac Jones type situation. And so far, you've been right on the money with that. And they are winning despite him.
Correct.
It's not even, I don't even know. I mean, I guess I can't say it's worse than the Trevor Lawrence situation where they were kind of winning in spite of Trevor. But this looks worse. Like right now, I mean, his decision making is horrible. Even whether it was the press conference post game, I can't see everything in the game, but I feel like he's playing without confidence. Like he is just what the guy you saw last year, particularly toward the end of the season, and the guy you see now are light years apart.
So that's funny because, Brew, I think he's playing with too much confidence.
Really?
I think he really believes so many of his throws are audacious. I'm not setting my feet and I'm running, or I'm gonna it's trying to fit it into tight windows. Like I feel like his problem isn't that he's too conservative. I feel like his problem is sometimes that he tries to do too much. So maybe it's a combination of being unconfident on certain things, but also still really believing in his overall talent in a way that, again, the Broncos are 8-2. I want to separate these things. The Broncos team has proven they're a good team. I was wrong about them.
The defense
the defense is carrying the entire workload right now in a way that I don't think is sustainable against the good teams, even though they beat Philly.
And quickly, what you said about the Chiefs, because obviously Mahomes was playing way better than this, but it's reminiscent, the close wins, some wins where you're like, oh, they got a break, they won. The difference is the track record. And so the Eagles don't even get that benefit of the doubt. Even though they won the Super Bowl last year, when they don't look good in wins, people criticize them. The Chiefs, because of their past in the Super Bowls, they have gotten a pass, and rightfully so, that you can't give to the Broncos.
Go ahead, KW. 7-game win streak. He's completing less than 60% of his passes. I'm a big completion percentage guy. I know you hate it.
No, it's good. We even it out.
He likes it for
I'm
this.
not. No, I'm not a completion
discussion.
And he's not really throwing it that far. Yards per pass at 6.2. Yeah. It's the worst on any 7-game win streak since the Steelers. That was the season before the better than the bye.
Correct. That was the fraudulent. They started 10-0, and nobody really believed in them. Was that year?
Oh, the Steelers.
Yeah.
That being said, and maybe I'm just playing a little bit of devil's advocate.
That's okay.
7 games is 7 games.
Yeah.
So that's one part of it. There's a point where we're in this weird part of sports TV. It's like maybe it'd be better to get that was just a dud game, and I was total. Sometimes you get more credit for you know what? Throw that game in the garbage, but you don't throw it in the garbage because they won. You know what I mean? So then it's they don't.
But it's just every week like this, KW.
I know, this is how they look consistently. They beat the Jets 13-11.
So that's the other.
The Eagles. I know. So the Jets are there. The Texans are here. The Eagles thing is real.
What do you mean?
The Eagles win was a real win. I'm watching that game, and
that's
he looked
really
great.
Their own.
No, but that's their.
The Giants win was great. So was it lucky? A little weird thing.
It shouldn't have.
But Bo Nix was out there. Looked like a franchise quarterback.
That Eagles game, if you remember it, he looked exactly like this for the first 3 quarters.
I know, but he flashes.
And then the fourth quarter was excellent. And that's the other distinction that I will draw, because I know we're about to talk about the Chiefs this year, because I went back and looked at it. The Chiefs last year, it was close games. It was close games against playoff teams. It was close games against the Broncos, who made the playoffs, against Cincinnati, against Baltimore. The only close game against a non-playoff team they had like that against a bad team was the Raiders game. The Broncos, it's these close games against the Titans and the Giants and the Jets and the Texans with a backup quarterback and the Raiders last night.
Yeah.
That's the other piece of it. And so I think he is going to be the reason this team does not achieve Sean Payton's belief in it. Sean Payton said this team can win the Super Bowl. And the reason that at 8-2, with the best statistical offensive line in football, the best defensive line or pass rush in football, and an excellent defense, nobody thinks they can win the Super Bowl, is because of the quarterback.
They can disrupt the quarterback.
Yes.
That might go a long way. Last time Denver won 7 straight, they won the Super Bowl.
Okay, well,
Broncos. So the Broncos have 8 wins. Kansas City has 5. Quick update on the playoff odds, Brew. Luckily, you missed it yesterday. Grievous error on my part. I just got several things wrong. Denver is now 90% to make the playoffs, 50% to win the division, according to The Athletic, which is owned in part by the New York Times.
Can I tell you something funny about this graphic?
Sure.
Yesterday, before the game, Denver had slightly better odds to win the division. They were plus 100 and KC was plus 150. So even though they won, because it looked the way it did,
the odds dropped.
Vegas was like, the Chiefs have a slightly better chance today than they did yesterday, even though Denver won.
So that's the weird part. Do you think the division is out of reach, even though the odds are tightening?
No, So this is a very unique circumstance that I cannot remember this late in the season this being true. Technically, right now, the Broncos, Chargers, and Chiefs all control their own destiny for the division. Meaning because they play each other enough, meaning if any of them win out, they win the division, right? And so But I don't anticipate the Chiefs are going to win out. However, I do anticipate the Chiefs off a bye are going to win in Denver, and I do anticipate the Chiefs in Week 16, I think it is, at home
17.
are going to beat Denver. And that de facto in my brain ties them. Like that, Chiefs have 4 losses, Denver has 2. I believe the Chiefs are going to go 2-0 against the Denver Broncos. In which case, no, it's definitively not out of reach. Now, it does mean Kansas City, because Denver keeps winning these close games and having these comebacks, even if Kansas City sweeps them, it doesn't lock the division for them because Kansas City's margin of error has narrowed. But I don't think what Denver is doing is sustainable in the final third of their season when they finally play good teams other than Philadelphia. And so, no, I don't think it's out of reach for Kansas.
Well, I agree. And, I mean, like you said, the fact that the Chiefs play them twice means that it's not out of reach. I mean, if they beat them. And I think it breaks really well for the Chiefs because, as you said, the next game against Denver is off the bye. So you certainly think the Chiefs are going to be ready and win that game in Denver.
Yep.
And then that game, I think it's Week 17.
You're right.
That could determine the division champ. I think the Chargers, and I really have liked the Chargers, but the injuries, and look, Joe Alt, we've been talking about him like he's the best offensive lineman of all time, right? But still, without Slater, without him, I think they're going to fall off a little bit. I still think they can make the playoffs. But I think it's between Denver and Kansas City. And that last game being in Kansas City, that you got to like the Chiefs in that one. And here, you mentioned it, Nick, the last 4 games for I don't know if it was up there, for the Broncos, Green Bay, Jacksonville, Kansas City, and the Chargers.
Correct.
Like, that is some tough sledding. So I think the Chiefs, look, obviously if the Chiefs lose to Denver off the bye, then the Broncos
division,
are in control,
the Chiefs play a division championship elimination game out of the bye.
Yeah.
Like if the Chiefs, I am going to be on the record, look into the camera right now. If the Chiefs lose out of the bye, they cannot, in my opinion, win the AFC West, and we have to start
the playoffs.
Sadly talking about can they miss the playoffs if they lose coming out of the bye. So that game is as important of a regular season game as the Chiefs have played in Mahomes' career.
Can I tell you why I'm worried about it?
I'd love to hear.
For the Chiefs?
A little bit.
I mean, they're only a 3-point favorite on the look-ahead line.
So Denver's got the longest home winning streak in the NFL. They're very good in Denver. The off-the-bye thing is usually great. Andy Reid's great off the bye. But this Thursday night game, I was like,
Denver gets like half a bye.
I didn't realize that when we were looking at it. Like, that's kind of like a miniature bye. And there's one real way to beat Patrick Mahomes. You can't go toe-to-toe with the guy. You have to hit him. And they can do that. 4 times he was hit the most. 11 times, 7 times, 7 times, 6 times. Bills lost, Eagles lost. Giants win, but it was a tackle that turned tide.
Yeah.
And the Chargers lost. So if they can get to Mahomes, that is like a rest, and you're good at home, and you're rested, and you're not a full off the bye. It's a recipe for an upset.
No, listen. Your analysis there is definitely correct. If you remember the last few games of last season, when they had those 3 games in 10 days, and they needed to win them to be able to lock up the 1 seed. When the offensive line was really the offensive line wasn't in shambles. The left tackle position was in shambles. And they were playing the Texans, who were great at getting to the quarterback, and they were playing the Steelers, who's the whole way they were clawing their way into the playoffs was getting to the quarterback. The Chiefs, I think, had 2 of their most potent offensive games of last year up to that point by just doing the quick hitter passing, spamming that again and again. I have to believe that Andy understands against Denver that we aren't going to need massive explosives because their offense is not explosive. We just need, to your point, to be able to protect Patrick. I think Buffalo was different because Buffalo, I feel like they felt we need explosives. You know, so and then Buffalo was able to get to him.
Finally, Ravens-Vikings, Sunday at 1. We talked about this Vikings defense, bro. but maybe more reputation than reality.
Thank you.
Here's the recent passer rating against Brian Flores' defense. Rodgers around 120. Dylan Gabriel played well.
That's the most embarrassing number on there.
Jalen Hurts.
You let Dylan Gabriel
Perfect.
94 rating.
Herbert 122 and Goff.
Right. I mean, those
108.
numbers are crazy.
So, Brew, how confident are you that the Ravens stay hot?
Wilds, if I was any more confident, I'd be Muhammad Ali. All right? I am incredibly confident that the Ravens are going to continue to roll. And firstly, I love what I hear coming out of that locker room. And it started with Kyle Van Noy on our show. Like, we're not there yet. We still got a long way to go. Like, they are not feeling like, okay, the defense is fixed, everything is good. Like, they know they dug themselves a hole, and every single week they have to dig out of it. I think they are talking like there's a sense of urgency. There's a seriousness. We got to win every single game to get ourselves out of this hole. And they know there's a chance. It's not like it's a pipe dream. They control their own destiny too.
Yes.
Because they play Pittsburgh twice. And so I feel very confident. Look, J.J. McCarthy, it's almost like at Michigan. His numbers are not
That's a great
impressive,
take.
and even his play is not impressive.
Those post-game
but he
speeches.
he makes winning plays. I will give him that.
Yeah.
We against Chicago, obviously. Last week he had the numbers aren't very impressive, but he had some 2 touchdowns, passing, 1 running. So, but he has not played well overall. Mm-hmm. I do think that Ravens defense is improving. I'm not going to say they're there yet. They still got to keep doing this week after week, but they're getting better. And then Lamar, I mean, you showed those numbers. Lamar's passer rating is 136. So guys with much lower ones are lighting up Minnesota. I think he's going to have his way. And also Minnesota, really, they've struggled against the run too. So Derrick Henry, one of them, or maybe both, is going to have a big game. Nick, I think it's going to be a shootout, or it's going to have to be a shootout for Minnesota to win. And I don't think JJ can come close to Lamar at this stage of his career in a shootout.
All right. I think a lot of that is fair analysis. Your graphic confused me a bit, and not confused me, but surprised me, I should say.
Yeah, me too.
Because Minnesota did really get to Jared Goff. Maybe he didn't show up in his passer rating, but this past week, he was under constant duress. I thought that was the best game Minnesota's defense has played all year. So even if it doesn't,
absolutely.
Even if it didn't show up in Goff's passer rating numbers, if that defense comes to play against Baltimore, that could give Lamar some trouble, because you're right that Lamar has basically solved being blitzed, where he used to be bad at it.
And one of the things that kind of helped him grow was
that
years ago.
game against Miami.
Yep.
By the way, speaking of Miami, everybody knows I'm a big the tackle that turned the tide guy.
Yeah, everybody knows.
But
of course,
no other team that's floundering has been like, hey guys, why don't we draw something up so our quarterback has to force a fumble to see if it turns everything around. You did see that another team decided to see if they could have a toy toss that transformed the tacklers.
That felt like it was.
Miami got rid of the Papa Shot, bro. I'm just letting you know. Miami
should have done that about a month ago.
Miami got rid of the Papa Shot. It feels like your T7 is maybe taking some of the league by storm.
They need to get rid of the cardboard that's on the floor in the locker room where they break dance and do backspins and all that.
Here's the deal. I want the Ravens to win, KW.
Yeah, of course.
Do you?
You have to.
I do, because I feel, and I don't know if you agree with me, I feel like if they lose, it's over. That they are done. I think the Steelers stealing that win against the Colts, I shouldn't say stealing, they outplayed them, but winning as a dog against the Colts, that in conjunction with, if the Ravens lose this game to fall to 3-6, the hole is too big.
Really?
I do. And so I don't want the Ravens to be done yet.
Right.
And I also am a little anxious about what I saw Minnesota's defense do last week. And so that's my only trepidation on it. Now, what weighs more heavily
I'm not worried
is
about golf, like treating golf like Lamar. Though.
Well, but
and golf,
Lamar just
we
like,
know
I'm outta
struggles
here.
more.
But Lamar
pressure.
does. Here's the thing. Lamar doesn't do that as much anymore, and I still have bouncing around in my head what I thought was Spags in the Chiefs game really giving Lamar some trouble in that game. And so
Well, look, the Chiefs give him
The-
trouble that other teams don't.
Right, but I'm thinking more about Spags and Flores as like creative, really smart D coordinators that can cook, what the kids call a bespoke game plan up just for Lamar. And
Kids
so,
are using the term bespoke.
only when it comes to defensive game plans, oddly. They're like, that's a very bespoke defensive game plan.
That's
and
an
so
intelligent analysis.
I am not quite as confident as Brew, but Lamar owns the NFC for his career.
He's lost his last two, though. I think.
But prior to that, what? He was 29-0 or
he's
something.
24-3
And
overall.
so I great job. Brew, you're the
You
best.
did not take the day off.
Brew's locked. Brew's locked. But I'd be a little nervous. If it's close late, I'm nervous. That's what I'm saying. For the show, not even just for Brew.
Vibes in Philly, confusing. We discuss next on First Things First in the Fox Sports Channel at SiriusXM. Also streaming sometimes.
All the time.
Well,
I turned off news altogether.
I hate to say it, but I don't trust much of anything.
It's the rage bait.
It feels like it's trying to divide people.
If we got clear facts, maybe we could calm down a little.
NBC News brings you clear reporting. Let's meet at the facts. Let's move forward from there. NBC News, reporting for America.
Hey, our like James Worthy out there.
is back to #1 in our YouTube channels, now streaming sometimes. It's not live, it's not the live show, but it certainly feels like it.
Definitely. Check
looks
it out.
cool. Yeah, check it out.
The more eyeballs, the better.
Exactly.
That's my
Well,
motto.
especially, if your goggles as well. Yeah. Vibe check in Philly as they prepare to take on the Packers. We're going to play two pieces of sound here and have you guys react. The first is A.J. Brown, who wasn't traded and was asked if he wants to be on the team. And then it was Jalen Phillips, who came over from the Dolphins and is just absolutely thrilled. So take a listen to two pieces of sound.
Yeah, well, has I said anything to not be here or something like that? Yeah.
I thought I was excited day one. I mean, talk to me now. Like, this is literally the greatest thing that's happened to me in my whole life, probably. But it's just awesome. I mean, the guys are awesome. Everybody's been super welcoming. I love the environment here. I love the vibe here. The city of Philly's, giving me a very warm welcome. I got about 20 times the amount of Instagram likes that I ever got on the posting before from the Philly fans. So shout out to y'all.
No one even knew I was in the NFL. I was in the Dolphins. Brew, your reaction to the vibes in Philadelphia?
I don't even know that it matters.
That's a
and I say that as the architect of the supernatural funk phrase. So that obviously mattered. But we're at the point where the vibes look great for obviously Jalen Phillips. And AJ was fine there, but it doesn't even have to be a loss for AJ to throw the vibes into disarray. They could win this weekend, and he could say something, post something that has everybody going, what in the world? So I think the good thing for the Eagles is that I think they just completely ignore. Like Jaden said it earlier, or Jalen said it a couple weeks ago. Jalen Hurts said it a couple weeks ago when he was like, I just keep focus on the collective.
Yeah.
And I think we kind of brushed it aside, whatever. But I really think that's how they look at it now. Like, look, whatever AJ said, it's kind of like the boy that cried wolf. Like, he's so many times he said something, posted something, whatever. We won a Super Bowl with him being a distraction on the sideline by reading a book, with him saying things and tweeting things. We're fine. Whatever he says, I think they just ignore it, which I think is smart, and you move forward. So I think that'll be fine for them.
They're built for all types of vibes. Any vibe, whether it's negative, whether it's great, they're built for all of it because they've had to. They've endured it all. Last year, you kind of alluded to it. Last year, a 9-game winning streak, win against the Carolina Panthers. A.J. Brown is asked, what needs to be passing game? And now, to his credit, we all felt the same way.
Yes.
So he does say the things that most guys aren't going to say in the locker room that they feel that we're not going to disclose to the open public. Jalen Phillips, on the other hand, he's coming from a situation where, look, I had no chance to win.
Right.
Like, it was miserable. By the way, I've been down there. I know what you're talking about. And so you get in a locker room and the opportunity. All I see is an opportunity to win. But to defend, I don't necessarily want to say I want to defend A.J. Brown. But you gotta have a guy like this in the locker room. And last year, I thought the book was a distraction. You guys know how I felt about the book. But you know how many guys came to his defense? Guys in that locker room came to his defense. Even yesterday, when we saw that shot that we just put up there, Devontae Smith
is in the background.
He jumps
smiling.
in.
Yeah.
It's like, what y'all think? He want to be like. A.J. Brown is never going to be the guy that just goes with what feels good. He's going to be the guy in the locker room, in the team meeting room that's going to say what he feels, how he feels, whether we're winning or losing. And he's the guy that everybody, when something, somebody's going to say something, it's like, oh, AJ's going to say something. When something needs to be said and nobody's saying anything, you know who everybody's going to look at? AJ, you going to say something? Because you want
positive.
That guy. Absolutely.
Oh.
It's like, you think it started that way or it's just become that?
I think it's become that because of the frustrations in the passing game. And again, he's experienced it. We watch it and we see, man, they're going to have to pass the ball if they're going to be able to accomplish what we all feel like they're talented enough to do.
What were you going to – you had a funny look when Bruce said what he said.
Because I 100% agree with Bruce.
So
I wrote down my paper, not sure any of this matters. To me, it's like turbulence on a flight.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if we're sitting next to each other and you start freaking out and you start screaming with your shoes off. Jalen Hurts is the pilot, and he's cool. He's not rattled at all. So I could be like, put your shoes on, we're going down. You got your toes out there wiggling. But it's like Jalen Hurts is so calm and so steady, I'm not sure this matters.
All right. So I have, in response to that.
About the shoe thing?
I want to agree. I want to agree with you guys, with the exception of, I think one could make the argument, this is the team of all 32 where it could matter the most because we saw what we think was bad vibes sink a season. That we saw this team be 10-1, and then for reasons that are so inexplicable, we have just used it like it's a real event, like for the tackle that turned the tide, the supernatural funk. We're like that, that was right.
Written in history.
It's written in history as the supernatural funk, and it was brought about by weird vibes on a winning team.
But we're not there yet.
But last year they had the same experience,
right.
and they went through it.
And they got through it. Here's my other kind of bigger picture opinion on this before we move on. We used to hear all the time about, when I was young, like how hard it is to play in New York City because of the back pages, right? The tabloids. And I remember when this show first started, I might have even argued with you about it 7-8 years ago, when I was like, man, that's not a thing anymore. Like that's that's not the way players consume the media anymore. I think what that is morphed into is the teams that have the most spotlight on them, if there's anything to pick at, it's going to be picked, and the players are going to see it the way guys in New York used to only see it.
Right.
And so I think that Philadelphia is the back pages are basically the Instagram and Twitter feeds, and Philadelphia has been the subject of a lot of picking, and we are in a way that, like, the Chiefs just are not. Like there are not people regularly. I'm not reporting about the unhappy guy in the Chiefs or Packers locker room or
but
the
that's
Niners.
Because they don't say stuff like A.J. Brown.
Right, but that's kind of my point, is it becomes a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, Philly is, a hotbed of this stuff already. Now they have a guy who will talk, and now you have everybody going to him for it, and it's a story that just won't,
this is
won't
a story,
go away.
And he didn't say anything.
It's just and to your point, Brew, a win doesn't fix it. A win where A.J. Brown is awesome doesn't fix it, because that's what got us not using me was when it's just going to be there. So they have to be able to sustain it, because it's not going to go away. There's nothing that'll make it go away.
As for the game, the Eagles are underdogs in Green Bay. Jordan Love looking to bounce back from a dud game against Carolina in a 3-interception game when he faced the Eagles in the playoffs. Greg will ask you, are the Packers in trouble if they lose on Monday night?
I've been going back and forth with this, and they would be definitely staring down the alley of trouble.
Staring down the alley of trouble.
They would.
I think that's a no.
That's a kind of a no.
Yeah, they wouldn't necessarily be in trouble because we've seen them lose games and then get back on track. However, after losing to the Panthers in the fashion of which you've lost to them, and then knowing what we know about this team, losing to them week 1 to open the season last year, getting your season ended by them last year, and Jordan Love not playing great, it just wouldn't feel good, because you're then looking at their schedule and saying, where's the win that tells us that this team is really, really good? Now, I picked them to win the Super Bowl and get there, obviously. Detroit, week 1, we almost are wanting to throw that out because Detroit hasn't looked anything like that since. And so you need to put together some type of win against a team like this. If you are going to be the team that we expect you to be, you're going to have to face a team that's going to be in your way. And this is one that's going to consistently be in your way in the NFC.
I do not think they'd be in trouble. I think you make a good point that would be at least three straight losses, 3 in the last 2 years to the Eagles. So that could be deflating, right? You're like, can we get over the hump against this team? But I also feel like when you are a good team and you lose to the defending Super Bowl champion, that can't deflate you. It's like they're great too. I mean, so it's not like we lost to a bad team again. And I also think, Greg, the thing is they have gotten up for the good teams.
Yes, their problem has been the bad team.
Washington at that point we thought was a very good team, and they beat one more Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Right, and then it's been the bad teams: Cleveland, Carolina, Dallas. So I expect them to be up for, even if they lose, though, they're 5-3-1. Now that would drop them out of the playoffs for the time being, most likely. But because they got Minnesota twice, who is a team they theoretically could be battling with. They got Chicago twice, which is a team they be fighting with for one of those last playoff spots. And they still play Detroit. Now, I don't necessarily expect them to sweep Detroit, so they probably will lose that game. But I just still think they have enough games against the teams they're battling with. And we know they're better than Minnesota. They're better than Chicago. They have to play that way. But I still think because that's their schedule, they would still be in fine shape.
So if they lose this game, I don't know that I will just say definitively they're better than Chicago.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean you think on paper better.
Going into the year, I had Chicago and Green Bay both as wild cards, I think as the 6 and the 7. You know what I mean? I didn't find them to be that far apart. Right now, one team's 5-3. Coming off its, arguably best moment of the season. The other team's 5-2-1, coming off arguably its worst moment of the season, or second worst moment of the season. And I think, Dust, I don't know if we can put up whatever version of the standings we have, because your point is correct, Brew. If they lose this game, if we think Chicago's going to beat the Giants and they're favored, they will be out of the playoffs going into this week. I know right now it says they're the 4 seed, but that's not the important part. The important part is the records. And if they lose, you do have Chicago poised for right there. And you also have the possibility of team that almost every year there's a team where like, man, they're not as good as some of those teams that missed the playoffs, but they got to 10 wins, Carolina or whomever, and they stole a spot. And so if you look at then Green Bay's schedule, you're right, Brew. They play all the teams they're competing with. They don't play any soft spots but the Giants. Like,
right,
I would.
Denver,
so it
Boston.
just does be, at some point, it becomes a bit of a math problem. And in a similar way to what I was saying about Kansas City, if they lose to Denver. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, well, it doesn't really matter how good you, in theory, can be if you don't have enough opportunities to get the wins. And so I would think if they lose Monday, I would say they're like a coin flip to make the playoffs. And that, to me, is a big deal.
Drake Show versus the Bake Show.
Drake
next.
Show?
Yeah, I thought about rolling out the Drake Show.
Why don't you just call him Drake? Nobody has that name.
Well. Drake versus Bake, Sunday in Tampa Bay. Both QBs in the MVP conversation. Both teams in first place. Both defenses great at stopping the run. They'll be even better because both starting running backs, Bucky Irving and Ramondre Stevenson, will not play. So the ball should be moving through the air. Who's more likely to look like the MVP, Drake or Bake?
I'm going to say Drake or Baker. Pardon me. Your Drake or Bake thing threw me off. Baker, and I want to say something to you about Drake.
Great.
Because he is legitimately an MVP candidate.
Oh, yeah.
The Patriots have a legitimate shot at the 1 seed, and his numbers are stunning.
This is a little bit like, I feel a little bit like A.J. Brown in like when you won the Super Bowl. Like I started to roll out this Drake May stuff, and then you're just like, all
those things, and you feel nothing,
empty
feel empty inside.
Yeah, I need a new rabbit to chase.
Okay.
You want to give me Drake?
So then
you can take the next young up-and-coming guy.
So this is the rabbit you should chase.
Okay.
And I think it is super important in this game against Todd Bowles' defense, but also important the rest of your regular season. He's got to get hit less.
I know.
And he talked about that, he seems like a really good leader and kid. And when he said, oh, those sacks, they're on me, like that's the right thing to say, it's also true. That's not all of them, but he is holding onto the ball a little too long. One of the reasons his completion percentage is on pace to maybe set the all-time record is because he is taking some sacks instead of throwing the ball away, and he takes big hits. And so I think Baker is off a bye, big spot. I think he's poised to play really well. And if I were you watching Drake in this game, I would really be saying, man, we need you to be whole going into a real playoff run. And we need you to put into practice what you said in the press conference this week, which is, I'm not going to take as many sacks. Because that is the way that this season goes from, oh my God, what a great year, to off the rails.
I'm going to go with Drake.
Love it.
And look, Baker was in the MVP conversation. He was on top of my ballot for a while.
He's still in it.
He's still on the periphery. Yeah, on the periphery if he puts together a nice string. But even then, Baker was not he's not having a phenomenal season. I don't think he's playing as well overall as he did last year. I know he led the league in interceptions last year, but he also had 41 touchdowns. He was just heroic at the end. He wasn't playing terribly for the first 3 quarters or whatever, but he wasn't lighting it up. He was playing okay, and that's why they were in close games with some teams that were less than them, but he would come through with some great plays down the stretch. And so I think Drake is having a far better year, and I do think Drake is going to have a better game than Baker coming out of this bye.
Yeah, I'm with Nick. I think it's going to be Baker, in a large part because of what you were talking about, the hits that Drake decides to take. Like the Buccaneers, their last 3 games, they've sacked the quarterback 15 times. They only have 25 sacks on the year. So they're trending in the right direction as far as being able to actually pressure the quarterback. And then Baker, to your point, like he hadn't been playing good going into the break. You get that bye. You settle in, and it's like, yes, he has the heroics. Now it's time to be a little bit more efficient because against the Saints, he wasn't great.
No touchdown.
Against the Lions, he was inaccurate. They had a chance to win that game in moments or at least fight to get that game within striking distance, and he wasn't able to do it. And I just think this is the moment where either Baker continues to rise and be the team and be the player that they need him to be, not just in the fourth quarter and the waning moments of the game where we've seen him do special things. No knock against Drake, Maye, because I think he's great. He's fantastic. It's the youthfulness of you got to let that ball go. I remember when Aaron Rodgers first started playing, and one of the things that he did that drove everyone crazy is he held onto the ball. And it's because you still feel like I can make that play. Yep. It's what I was talking about with Lamar. They just feel like Ben Roethlisberger did it for his entire career. There's just this, I can make a play still. I still can make a play. Even with somebody hanging off of me, I feel like I can make a play, and it kind of gets him in trouble, and he doesn't need to take those hits.
It's a little Josh Allen-y, early Josh Allen. Yeah. How far do you have the Bucs going?
Losing in the Super Bowl to the Kansas City Chiefs.
And a lot of people, Danny has the Bills in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
If the Patriots beat the Bucs in their building and the Bills at their building.
It's great. It's huge.
What do you think is a fair ceiling that I can come in and start talking about on Monday?
You should already be talking about the Patriots playing in the Super Bowl.
No, you should not.
No, that ceiling?
You should stay the course.
But I'm getting there, Greg.
And just continue.
I'm starting to see like not as many hurdles.
No, KW.
Just keep knocking on the doorstep.
But Brew, if they win this game and they're 8-2,
they would start to feel like a real contender.
Yeah.
Especially like if the Chiefs.
They got 2 games left against the Jets.
If the Chiefs lose the next game to Denver, which you brought up some reasoning for, then maybe the Chiefs you won't even have to beat the Chiefs to get there. If you take the Chiefs out, then you got to give New England a shot, a real shot.
Okay. Stay tuned on Monday. Stay tuned. I'm okay losing too.
I am.
You almost won a loss just so you can get more comfortable.
A little bit. I feel like I'm going too fast. Live from New York. It's a show that's looking at hotels in Santa Clara in February. Just maybe.
Book it now.
I might.
Book it now. I'm sure nobody else has realized the Super Bowl.
I'm willing to commute.
What does that mean?
I'll book far away and then drive in for the game and drive back out. So there's availability. Patriots might go to the Super Bowl, everybody.
It would be great, man.
It's where we belong.
I got to tell you, I don't know if it would be good for the show if your Patriots make a Super Bowl before Brew's Ravens.
It wouldn't.
Not must-win Wednesday, but is Lamar facing a must-win? Meanwhile, a fresh edition of Nick's Picks looking to go 3-0 this week.
It feels 3-0-ish.
It does. I didn't see it.
I feel like I heard that exactly 1 week ago.
Well,
that one felt 3-0-ish.
And then exactly 2 weeks ago.
Well, that one, there you go. Well, right now,
3-0-ish.
We're headed to Denver. The Broncos scored 10 points. They won their 7th straight game. They're 8-2. They're in first place. The defense is excellent, but the eye test, not good. Here's Sean Payton.
We got to clean up the penalties. We got to clean up some of the execution, and that is an ongoing thing that probably never ends. There's, you search for that Shangri-La. Right now, we're a team sitting at 8 wins. I think we're the only team sitting there. So, and yet we're constantly looking internally and starting. But it was a tough night offensively, obviously, and I give them credit.
Here's the AFC playoff picture. The Broncos are the #1 seed in the whole AFC. Wow. Does their 8-2 record deserve your respect? All of our respect, really.
Oh, listen, being 8-2 deserves at least a modicum of respect, and that defense deserves well more than a modicum of respect. That defense is awesome, and it's not just Nick Bonito. Zach Allen, I thought the hit on Geno yesterday was borderline dirty, but he's an excellent player. And those aren't the only guys. Hufanga's a great player. The Surtain's not even out there. He'll be back. He's a great player. That defense, it legitimately might be the best in football. And the offensive line has allowed the fewest sacks of any team in the league. And everybody thinks Sean Payton is at the very least a good coach. A great coach at one point in time. Still, I don't know. But So you've got maybe the best defense, maybe the best offensive line, a good coach, a legit home field advantage because of where you play. The only way, and you have the best record in all of football, the only way that team would not be universally regarded as one of, if not the favorites to win the Super Bowl is if they had just a dreadful quarterback. And I'm sorry to tell you, Denver, but what your old buddy Nick Wright's been telling America for 10 weeks, all of America got to watch last night. And that was not an aberrant performance. It is week after week of guys open, sailed over their head, of clean pockets, he gets happy feet, of Bo Nix doing his best, young Aaron Rodgers. I'm gonna slide out to my right, throw it off 1 foot because of this arm talent, and it sails out of bounds. And so if you look at the teams we think are going to be in the AFC playoffs, the Bills, Steelers or Ravens, Colts, Chiefs, Chargers. Right now, those are the Vegas favorites. And the Patriots. I left out the Patriots. My apologies. Every single one of those teams, I believe, if you said to them, hey, who do you want to face? They are picking maybe the Chargers because of their injuries, and if not them, they're picking Denver. Even though they have the offensive line, the coach, and the defense, because we've seen that quarterback play that way for 10 weeks in a row, Greg.
No.
Look, I was the one that said that this team would make the playoffs. I don't believe anybody else picked them to make the playoffs.
I did.
You did pick them to make the playoffs?
I did not. I picked them to finish last in the division. I was wrong.
And one of the reasons why is because I believe in the head coach. I obviously believe in their defense. And I said, Bo Nix, year 2, he's going to continue to come on strong. Last night was hard. Don't laugh. It's a serious matter. Last night, it was really hard to watch. And they just find a way to win. Like, when you listen to Sean Payton, like, he's like, the only thing he can really hang his hat on is we're 8-2.
Yeah.
Like, we know we have a really good defense. We have some struggles offensively. Watching them, they fought tooth and nail to get 10 first downs in that game. That's all they got. 10 first downs. And so it's not just that Bo Nix is bad. There's no rhythm to the offense. Right. There's no sustainability to what they're trying to do. Like, they want to run the ball. You know that Sean Payton wants to protect Bo Nix right now. And so you know that they're going to run the ball first. And if he doesn't show that unless I need it in the fourth quarter and we're down and everybody, even that doesn't watch football, knows you got to throw to get back in the game. If you just need to get a dink and dunk, I was watching like the check downs and some of the outlets to the running back, and the way he throws the ball,
inaccurate, yeah.
He doesn't give them a chance to do anything after the catch. Right. And that was what stood out to me. It's not that he was inaccurate, because everyone's inaccurate from time to time, but it's like when he does have these guys in front of him, he doesn't give them a ball that they can do a lot with afterwards. That's problematic when you already can identify we sputter offensively if we start to even get going. It was really hard to watch, but they're 8-2.
Yeah, and that's going to carry them to the playoffs.
Yeah,
like they can't blow it now as far as making the playoffs.
Yeah, Colin made a great observation, I thought, earlier. It's speculation, but it could be true. He said he thinks that Nix is playing, he's overwrought with anxiety, and then in the fourth quarters, when it's like, I just got a playoff instinct, that's when he's been better. So I don't know if that's the case. Obviously, Sean Payton put a lot of expectations on his shoulders going into this season. But I'm not ready to write, and I know you haven't been with Nix his whole career. I'm not ready to write him off and say, this is him. Like, he played really well last year, especially the second half of the season. And you know, he's had his moments, obviously, this year in the fourth quarters. So I think he can get there. I think it's in his head. Some of those throws, I mean, those are mental, some of these bad misses he's having. So they might be able to get him back. But I was surprised at your take as far as respecting it, because I thought you were just going to rip it. I think two things can be true. Like, I don't consider them a Super Bowl contender right now, but I do respect what they've done.
Yeah, well,
I mean, when you look at where they were.
I respect what the team has done.
When you look at where they were when Sean Payton took over, you got to give him credit. And I agree. Yeah. I think he's made some mistakes. I thought he made some bad calls last night. But you got to respect what he's done. He's made them one of the better teams in the NFL when what looked like, I mean, he had Russell Wilson, like, it looked like a disaster, and he turned it around. And then to your point, the defense, the special teams has struggled. We saw that in some of the videos. The quarterback has been bad, and yet they're 8-2. And so you have to respect it. But it could be like that Pittsburgh 12-4 in 2020, and Philadelphia even turned out to not be real when they went 10-1 at the beginning of 2023.
Dusty, if you can grab the Bo Nix throw from Weird and Wonderful and drag it down, I just want to ask Greg a question about that specific play. That was supposed to be a touchdown. I know you're just talking about checkdowns. But his footwork on that particular play, not like I'm the quarterback guru, but he's all kind of like happy feet here.
Yeah.
Is that so bad? If you just watch his feet here, and he's just like on top of it, he's the mechanics seem so off. Is that actually kind of like a batter to cross sports? Is that like a batter in a slump? Like, hey man, just set your feet and you're a good quarterback.
Yeah,
like you got to the NFL and you're not doing, basic quarterback mechanical footwork.
So obviously there's a timing to a timing clock that you got to have.
Mm-hmm.
In these situations, when I saw this throw, and Herb Street kind of mentioned it in the broadcast, like he just never even thought to set his feet. He saw a wide open guy and was like, let me just throw it there. And when I see things like that, it's not even a confidence thing. It's you're moving too fast. Slow down, relax. And I feel like he feels pressure because sometimes when he was escaping the pocket, he's escaping into pressure. And it was weird to me because it's like you're setting yourself up. But this was just bad. This was just bad. I see a guy, I got to hurry up and get to him, and I don't even think to set my feet. That is like elementary.
Listen, I know this is going to sound, it might sound harsh, and it is what it is. And I'm glad, Brew, I appreciate you saying that you were surprised by the fact that I am trying to bifurcate my analysis here. I do think the Broncos team deserves respect. Mm-hmm. But we talk all the time about, man, maybe that quarterback was really good and he just was in the worst situation possible. Sure. You have dropped a 5-year college player into a team where they are never off game script early because the defense keeps them in every game. Mm-hmm. The teams always have to worry about the run or the pass. You have a head coach whose entire calling card is drawing up open guys and amazing offense. You have the best offensive line in football, and he looks like this. I am not exaggerating when I tell you my opinion is I think there are 25 starting quarterbacks in football that if we dropped them into the Broncos right now would look better than they actually are. And so, and better than what the Broncos are getting right now. This is kind of an ideal circumstance for a young quarterback to be in, and that's the production they're getting. That's the big concern for Denver.
It's time now for the hottest segment in all of sports. It's Upset Alert. And it's a controversial segment.
It's not controversial at all.
Turns out how analytics ended up ruining, for lack of a better term, some of the sports that you love. Too many threes, for example. Baseball had to change the rule. Too many home runs.
Yeah.
The shift. We have learned in the last few weeks of Upset Alert that the 1 point for covering and you get the amount of points for the outright win +3 or something.
Yeah.
Just makes for not a competitive game.
Well, hold on. Show the scores and we'll go to the rules. Coach and Greg got a 15.5 pointer last week.
So basically, you could pick every game right from week 1 to week 16.
Uh-huh.
And be up half a point.
Oh, if you go against the spread.
Come on.
No, what do you mean, KW?
You mean
if you picked every game right for 16 weeks, it would be a minimum of
If I got every game covered.
He means just covered.
If I was in Nick's picks,
So
I'd be
you
right.
Again,
do it
it's not called cover. Show the rules, Dust. It's very straightforward. Everybody understands. We all agreed to it.
But we learned.
You get a minimum.
We agreed the ship
read
was cool.
Read the final 2 bullets. You get 1 point if your team covers fails to win outright. The point is to honor the alert part of upset alert. It should be 0 points, but we wanted to honor the alert part. You get a minimum of 3 points if your upset alert wins outright, plus number of bonus points commensurate with the point spread.
That is flawed. It is obviously flawed.
Oh, okay. Well, you weren't saying that when you were wearing a groundhog hat and you were the Punxsutawney Phil of football. You're just saying it because Greg and Coach are cooking you guys.
Record, that was before we did the scoring.
Well, it is. Go ahead.
I just got to give a shout out to Coach because right now, Coach, you're putting the team on your back.
Did he have both of the big wins, Coach?
Yeah. We have 3 wins. I have 1. Coach has 2, but he has hit grand slams on both of his. So credit to Coach. But this week,
that's all it is.
Are you disappointed?
He's getting lucky.
Yeah,
I mean,
he knows
what's
what
the
he's
biggest upset every week?
Exactly.
Well, this week I'm going with the Arizona Cardinals. And they're facing off against, absolutely. They're going up against the Seattle Seahawks. And I know we're all excited about the Seattle team, as am I. But this team in Arizona is starting to heat up in the desert.
Really?
Yeah, it's starting to heat up in the desert. They made a decision at the quarterback position. I'll get to that. But when you look at this team, and I know every time we show a team's remaining schedule and we look and we see the Cardinals, we're like, oh, that's a win. But really, is it? When you look at what they've been able to do, they've won games. They've been in close games every single week. These are their losses. They've led in every one of their losses, and then they end up finding a way to lose. That's a sign of a team that just doesn't know how to finish. Yeah. That doesn't mean that they're a bad team. Now you insert a veteran at the quarterback position that steadies everything, gives us a little bit more production on the offensive side of the ball, allows our defense to rest a little bit because we're sustaining some drives. We're actually waking up a draft pick that we all thought was just going to be sleep throughout the entirety of the year, and Marvin Harrison Jr. Like, these are the numbers when Kyler was starting versus now what you have with Jacoby Brissett. This is why I feel like this team has a chance in every single game because they've been in every single game. Now you have Jacoby Brissett, not a world beater. He's gonna take some sacks, but he's gonna put the ball in the end zone and he's gonna protect the ball. I like where they're going defensively. Jonathan Gannon always has had a really good defense. The defense can play a little bit better, but this is a team that in that division, they're going to scrap to the end. And it's heating up in the desert.
It's in Seattle.
I know.
What is the desert?
Well, they're in the desert. They're practicing right now in the desert.
Yeah.
They're in Arizona.
But they're about to play.
I know they're playing. That means nothing.
I'm just desert rain. I mean, okay.
It's like the opposite.
I actually like your pick. I would have picked that had you not picked it first. I do like that pick because I agree. I like Arizona. I mean, and you know they're due for one. You know who else is due for one?
You?
The Atlanta Falcons.
Oh.
3 straight L's.
Wow.
Played very similar to what you're talking about. So you're shaking your head. They get them to play their worst. It's in Europe.
Yeah,
so
it's in Berlin.
Everybody's thrown off a little bit. All right. I would feel even better about it if Indy weren't coming off a loss. All right. So they're coming off this loss. They're going to obviously want to make amends for that. But who do they have next? The Chiefs.
Oh, yeah.
Coach, part of his reason for picking that upset last week was looking ahead. Yeah. And obviously, Indy is thinking about Kansas City. I don't care what they say. They're thinking about the Chiefs. Atlanta, 3-5, their season's on the line. Like, they lose this game, it's probably over. And I don't think they feel like it's over. They've almost beat Tampa Bay. They almost beat New England. Like, they have reason to feel like we are right there. Just like your Cardinals, except I think the Falcons are more talented. The receiving core, I know you got a good one too, but the quarterback, Penix, I'll take him over Jacoby Brissett. You know, the defense, one of the best, ranked in the top 5 total defense. So I think Atlanta's going to Go out here and shock the world this weekend. Plus, I need to go big game.
They're going to sprinkle a little sauce on that
What
hawk
about Sauce Gardner?
and eat that on up.
Nah, I mean, it's first game with
Drew,
him.
I love that upset alert, and you
Left out one thing.
Well, you did. I mean, culture built for fast track, and this is on a soccer pitch in Germany. A little foggy weather. It helps.
Is it going to be foggy?
It is. I looked. It's going to be foggy.
He definitely did.
I was showing Greg.
Foggy?
Foggy.
It's not morning time.
I'm just telling you, it's supposed to be foggy. I'm just telling you. I don't know.
This is such a guarantee. The Puxatawny Phillip football is not even fired up for it.
Well, you need it, buddy.
No, I don't.
Yes,
I was correct.
You do need it.
But you want to catch up. You want to win.
The Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles are underdogs coming off of a bye in Green Bay that just lost to the Panthers. Doesn't that seem super obvious to everybody? It was so obvious I had to get in the Google Doc early to stake my claim. How's Jalen Hurts do as an underdog? Surprise, surprise. And this is a little bit, Jalen Hurts is such a winning quarterback. We've gotten to the Mahomes category where it's like, how does he do on a waxing, gibbous moon? It's like, guess what? Excellent. 5-2 as an underdog. He's always good. How about the last calendar year? Felt like we maybe wrote Jalen Hurts off a little bit too early. 20-2. Remember, we always take out that Commanders game where he got hurt in the first quarter. Deep passes, how's that? How's his arm look throwing the ball deep now that A.J. Brown's back? Oh, surprise, surprise. In everything. Saquon's coming off his best game against the Giants and a bye, so he'll be extra fresh. Jalen's coming off of a perfect game against the Vikings, and then he just had a nice little game against the Giants. I feel the only reason I wasn't going to pick this game is it felt a little too obvious.
Oh, trap
a little
game?
bit. Micah Parsons has, I think, 3.5 sacks, maybe one forced fumble against Jalen in 3 or 4 games. But he was quiet last week.
Yeah,
he was shut out.
That means he's going to be loud this week.
Maybe not.
Be a good 5.5 pointer.
I would only want the one.
Okay, well, that's not how it works. What's it time now
It's
for?
time now, whether you like it or not, for Nick Smith.
You can't do that. You can't switch to whether you like it or not.
Wow, you found a loophole.
All right.
You bet.
The losses were bad. There's no way around it. Wow. The winner was up 28-0 at halftime. But I had the Lions laying 8.5. They lost outright. I had the Chiefs laying 1.5. They lost outright. No excuses. Point thumbs, not fingers.
Yeah.
Bad week. The only way to earn back the audience's
Perfect
trust
week
is with a perfect week.
I feel it.
Luckily, I haven't liked it. It was hard for me to pick just 3. There were 5 games I loved this weekend. I narrowed it down to 3. We are starting with Bake Show. Sorry, KW.
What?
KW's a Pats fan. He doesn't even want the Pats to win. Well, Baker, off a bye, at home, laying less than a field goal. By the way, Baker is a favorite off a bye, 4-0. Baker, with extra rest, 6-4 against the spread. Patriots, a little banged up. Baker, offensive line getting healthier finally, even though the skill position guys are not. I believe, with respect to the Patriots, the Bucs are the better team. They are the more well-rested team. They are at home. I am laying less than a full field goal. No problem. Even that Baker last-second magic field goal to win covers. Bucs minus 2.5. Next, everybody knows the Colts aren't built to play outdoors, particularly in Germany, and I'm getting 6.5 with the Falcons. This line was 5.5, and then they traded for Sauce Gardner and moved a point. That is America overreacting to a fancy trade, and we all know a corner should not move the Vegas spread a full point. Also, real analysis here, not weatherman analysis, which is real analysis, but Greg doesn't like it. Hey, Greg, DeForest Buckner important to your team? Because he's out for this game. In fact, he just went on the IR. Actually, kind of a big story, particularly when you're about to play that guy, Bijan Robinson, and the Atlanta Falcons. Here's the other thing. It's a Europe game. They're sleepy early. They're weird, and I'm getting almost a full touchdown. I don't need the Falcons to win outright like Brew does. I see them to cover the 6.5. I think they could win outright. Falcons plus 6.5. And last but not least, when you need to break a losing stretch, you know what you do?
Wow.
You go to Mike Tomlin as a dog. Mike Tomlin getting 3. Tomlin, in his career as an underdog, 67-40-4 against the spread. As we had the Steelers last week as a dog, on the pod, not on the show. They won outright. I think they can do it again. All I've heard all week is, you can't blame Justin Herbert because Joe Alt's not there. Well, you know who is there? TJ Watt and Nick Herbig and Cam Hayward coming for him. I think the Steelers are going to win outright. I'm getting 3 points. And one other thing. I know this says it's at the Chargers. That's because it's in Los Angeles.
Totally agree.
But you know what? You know who's going to be in a silent count in this game? Justin Herbert. There's going to be Steeler fans galore out there buying up those LA fans tickets, and it's going to feel like a Steeler home game. So 3 picks this week. 1 favorite, 2 dogs. The Bucs laying 2.5. The Falcons getting 6.5, and the Steelers getting 3. That, my friends, is a 3-0 weekend to get to 500 before the stretch run. You watch.
I'm rooting for you because I think it's good for the show.
I'm rooting for you, too, because I think it's good for the show.
Thanks, guys. I like that.
Can Mac Jones beat Matthew Stafford yet again? We discussed. 49ers, very injured. We got college football tonight. Under the lights, prime time. Northwestern at USC, number 19. It's tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, only on Fox. Welcome back to the show. No huddle time. Eagles are in Green Bay. Sirianni perfect off a bye. Jalen Hurts and Saquon coming off some of the best games of their season. Here's Jalen Hurts. Take a listen.
That's one thing that you don't think about as a competitor. You know, you look back on it, I guess, you know, you live life forward, but you learn it backwards. So you reflect on these things after it happens. And that's one thing that I've never, ever thought about. But I think that's just a testimony to the singular focus going into every game. The bye week is a time where we can take a brace and decompress a little bit, come together and say, hey, okay, what do we want to do? How do we want to do it? And so, again, this bye week came in the middle of the year, and we'll see what that does for us. But we just want to find ways to win.
Locked in. Jalen Hurts after a bye. No big deal, 4-0. Passer rating, 115, 11 touchdowns, 3 turnovers. Is everyone expecting the Eagles to stay hot against Greg's Packers, bro?
Well, they're also my Packers. Well, I got them going to the Super Bowl.
I mean, Greg, yes, I think he means Greg's Packers in that he won a Super Bowl with them.
Well, I thought it was because he picked. I thought it's because he picked them to win this year's Super Bowl.
He was on the Packers.
Suggesting you were in the unit room, wide receiver unit room.
Wait, wide receiver, don't take a shot. I mean,
no, I'm simply saying I picked them to win the NFC.
Yes, that is true, bro.
And look, I like the Eagles a lot. And I think there are tons of reasons to think they're going to win this game. So I will not be surprised at all if they win this game. And maybe I am guilty a bit of going with my heart in this one because they are my pick. But I am going with the Packers to win this game. As I said earlier, their problem has not been facing the good teams. They beat Detroit. They beat Washington when we thought they were a good team. When they had Jaden, they beat Pittsburgh soundly. So I think they will be up for this game, especially coming off a bad loss to Carolina. And like you said, Nick, those losses could come back to haunt them as the season goes on. Like 2 just bad losses that you can't explain. And so I think that the Packers are going to win this game. It's in Lambeau. Obviously, I don't want to lose 2 straight in Lambeau. And this is what you gentlemen have not
let's see something
factored into your thinking. Jordan Love, second half quarterback.
Oh.
Look at this. These are his first 2 seasons as a starter. First half of the season, he's all right. Second half of the season, he cooks.
Not bad.
In every single way. Yards, everything goes up. Look at the TDs to interceptions. And remember, he's already been good. He has had his bad moments.
You're not worried it's going to be reversed this year?
No, not at all. I think he's going to take it to an even greater level. Look at the passer rating, 23 points. So I think Jordan is going to really start playing even better than he already has been playing, and Green Bay's going to go ahead and get this W.
Yeah, I don't expect the Eagles to stay hot because of the opponent in the Green Bay Packers, and I'm obviously going with the Packers. And one of the reasons why, I'll piggyback off what you were just saying, I think if you're Matt LaFleur, you got to start putting a little bit more on Jordan Love's plate. And I know a lot of people will be like, well, why would you do that? He's a little up and down. But we know against really good teams, he tends to play really, really well, and he locks in. The Green Bay Packers haven't had a tremendous running game all year. Like Josh Jacobs, the year that he had last year, it was great. It was excellent. Kind of a catalyst to why they were able to make that run the way they were at the end of the year. That hasn't been very prevalent this year. What has been is Jordan Love throwing the football and spreading it around. I know you lose Tucker Kraft, huge piece to their puzzle.
Yeah.
However, you're going to ask your quarterback, who you have paid, who you believe has the skill set to get it done, to be a little bit more. Like, be more, because we all believe that he can be more. He just needs to be a little more consistent in where he chooses to throw that ball.
So you know I'm the king of vibes, right?
Yeah.
And
talk about that a
unfortunately,
lot.
there's no off switch on it.
Oh, okay.
So you know when like a superhero comes down to Earth from another planet?
Sure.
And they're like, it's all too much for them, you know, because they can like see through walls and stuff, and they can
guys do.
see people's
Superman
bones and stuff like that.
That's
like,
the
oh my
one I know
gosh.
of.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's me a lot of times.
With vibes.
Yes.
And what did you see?
They don't actually believe in the Packers at all. At all. Your whole take is Josh Jacobs hasn't been good. and you're like, okay.
Wait, what? My take is J-Lo already has played well. It's about to take it to
I
the
love you with all my
stratosphere.
heart. You have two teams. One is the Ravens, and one is the Packers. The way that you talk about the Ravens is a galaxy away from the way that you talk about the Packers. I just feel like you guys,
they're worried
deep down
about
in
this
your
game.
heart, you're terrified.
Well, the Eagles are a great team,
So
too.
can I
It's not like they
decide?
playing
Because I'm the only, oddly, I guess, neutral party on this game. Because you're
the king of vibes and the Eagles guy.
Right, you're the king of, but you have the Eagles winning the Super Bowl, Packers in the Super Bowl, Packers winning the Super Bowl. I have neither of these teams even in the conference championship game from before the year. I think that the thing you mentioned at the end, the Tucker Kraft injury, is on the very short list of most impactful injuries that have happened during this NFL season.
It's tough.
We talk about a lot about the Joe Alt injury, Nnamdi Madubuike for the Ravens. The Tucker Kraft injury is up there and impacted, particularly because I have been underwhelmed by the Packers receiving core that they've actually poured a lot of resources into over the last few years. I think Golden maybe will be good, but he has not popped yet. I know that your guy who's dealing with injury, Jaden Reed dealing with the collarbone, I get that. But I think Kraft had become their go-to option. I also do really believe in great team off a bye. Like that to me that's a little too simple, but not really.
No.
Like great team off a bye, extra rest, and Philly, the healthiest they've been all year. I think Cam Jurgens is one of the linemen. I don't know if it's Dickerson or Jurgens. One of their linemen is the only guy that they're worried about for this game. I think Philly, I do expect them to look really good. I'm with you, KW.
Sorry, guys.
That actually made me more confident.
Well, you act like I've been off. The Knicks picks is a bit of a rough spot, but my analysis has been spot on. My analysis has been great.
Rams are in San Francisco. Game of the week, Sunday at 4 on Fox. Last matchup was a Robert Saleh and Kyle Shanahan masterclass. An efficient offense, great defense, capitalized off of 2 Rams turnovers. Also, offensive explosion. Turns out, 731 combined passing yards, third most in any game this year. You say, Wilds, I thought it was a Robert Saleh masterclass. It was, because everybody was injured. Does anyone think Mac Jones and the depleted 49ers can keep up with Stafford again?
Can they? Yes, because look, Mac has been good. Now, is that because Mac Jones is all of a sudden good, or is that because any competent quarterback can look good in that offense? Differing minds can disagree. And as long as Christian McCaffrey is still healthy, and I hate even saying it like that, like I'm anticipating an injury. That's not what I'm saying. But they are using him as much as he's ever been used in any moment of his career because he's their only star that's been there all year long. Kyle Shanahan's going to cook something up. So can he? Yes. I think the Rams understand that this is a seminal moment for them in their season. If they are they going to once again just be a playoff team that, hey, nobody wants to play Matt Stafford and the Rams in the playoffs, or Are you going to go 13-4? Are you going to go get the bye? Are you going to, guarantee at least one home playoff game by winning this division? Because with the Niners at 6 wins, Seattle's a legit, really good, and unlike the Niners, healthy team. You lose this game. I know it's in Santa Clara, but you're the favorite. Like, I expect the Rams, and they weren't, they were dialed in last week. They could have overlooked the Saints leading into this matchup. They didn't. So Mac Jones has earned enough respect this year to where I'm not going to act like it's a impossibility, but I do not expect it. I think the Rams win this game.
Yeah, look, I'm not predicting Mac to fall off and have a terrible game, but I don't think he'll keep up with Stafford in this game for a lot of the reasons Nick said. But also, again, the Niners beat them already in L.A. I just don't expect them to sweep the Rams. I mean, they're both really good teams. I think the Rams are better because of the Niners' injuries. And Stafford is on the heater of his career, maybe. 16 touchdowns, no interceptions in his last 5 games. He is cooking with oil right now, and I think that's going to continue, in part because of their injuries for the Niners. So, no, I don't think Mac will be able to keep up with him in this game.
I actually do think Mac Jones will be able to keep up with him. Can we put those stats back up that we put up with Mac Jones and Stafford in that game 1 of the season? Because in that game, what we're failing to mention is although Christian McCaffrey was available, George Kittle wasn't out there, Juwan Jennings wasn't out there. Mac Jones did that with a week of practice with Kendrick Bourne.
Oh, yeah.
That was those numbers with just Kendrick Bourne out there having an all-pro type performance. Now you have George Kittle out there, he's available. Juwan Jennings, you have Kendrick Bourne out there available. Christian McCaffrey doing what he's been doing all season long. Robert Saleh cooking up some things on that defense. We know Kyle Shanahan is going to come prepared. He always seems to do that. And no knock on Sean McVay because he's going to be just as great of a counterpuncher. But, yeah, that's why he'll be able to keep up.
I said this, I don't know if it was Wednesday or Thursday. I just want to reiterate something I said about Stafford for this year because I think it is something to watch for the rest of the year with Bruce saying he's on this heater of a lifetime. He's also, I know he's number 1 on Bruce's ballot. He is rising in the Vegas MVP odds. The Matt Stafford cinching the Pro Football Hall of Fame by winning the MVP this year is to me a very interesting story. I don't know if you were here when I said it.
Yeah, no.
And so I know that's not like a definitive thing. That's just my belief. But I think that and I also think Stafford playing at this level this late in the year and not being banged up is something we haven't really seen since the year they won the Super Bowl, where he is healthy and rolling. Yeah. The Niners until
Dusty, do you want to show we have one roster update from the Rams?
What's that?
They have signed Harrison Mevis, who is known as the thicker kicker.
Okay.
Tipping the scales at 240 pounds. So
wow.
He will be the Rams.
Wait, they signed him to the active. He's definitely their kicker. They signed him to the active roster.
That is what it,
well, that actually matters not because he's the thicker kicker, but because Sean McVay really didn't like their kicker.
So now,
it couldn't get worse.
Yeah. All right. I didn't know that.
That's it. Roster update live from First Things First.
Thanks, Katie.
Coming up next is Lamar Jackson facing a must-win. The idea that Stafford could get to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And poor Lamar's season might be over. You got some huge storyline. Ravens in Minnesota. Lamar says the team turned over a new leaf. Ravens defense trying to slow down Justin Jefferson and J.J. McCarthy, who has thrown 4 TDs, 4 INTs, and 444 yards.
Wow. Numerology over here.
Who's under more pressure, Brew? Lamar or the Ravens defense?
Well, the defense. I mean, Lamar has owned the NFC. Now, he has lost his last 2 games against them, but those are elite teams. So Lamar is not under pressure. He's just going to go out there and cook like normal. The defense, though, I want to see it continue to go. And this is not a great quarterback by any stretch of the imagination. So they should give him real problems. And the game, I don't think, will even be close enough for him to work his magic at the end or whatever, he's tended to do. So I cooked up a little surprise for you guys.
Excellent.
I don't know if Dusty wants me to reveal it now, Dust.
Okay, we probably should have figured
Oh,
this
so
one.
with my pick.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll say.
Okay, within this segment, though?
Yes.
Are we,
Is it
okay,
within
so
this
in a couple
segment,
minutes.
Dust?
Yes.
Dusty's mad, I can tell.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Sternness.
Greg.
I was ready for it. I have it written
yeah,
down here. But we're not quite ready.
I'm with Brew on this. It's definitely the defense. Look, this young quarterback in J.J. McCarthy hasn't really gotten it going in the passing game. If he is to wake up somehow against this defense, you have problems.
Yeah.
You have problems. Like the one reason why that the Minnesota Vikings has had success is been when they've been able to run against teams, which you can run against the Ravens, and it gives the quarterback a little confidence, takes a little more pressure off your quarterback, and now he can start to settle in the game and not feel all that pressure and start to pick you apart. J.J. McCarthy is the athlete. Right now, he's not, none of us believe he's where he's going to be. But one thing he can do is ride off adrenaline and momentum. You see the looks in his eyes.
Yeah,
if he gets going, there's a level of confidence and belief that this young man possesses that can turn into something that the Baltimore Ravens defense don't want to see. They can't allow that to happen if they want to win this game.
My answer is neither person or group of people on the bar. The most pressure is on John Harbaugh, and the second most is on Brew. Because if they lose this game, their season's over. And I'm just there. You're not recovering from 3-6 and a loss to the Vikings. Like we agreed, Brew, that the Bears game was a must-win. But then we talked about how it started a stretch of must-wins. The Bears game, the Dolphins game, the Vikings game, and then I think it's Jets-Browns. Like that they had to sweep the board there going into their final 6. This is the middle of it. They have to win the game.
Okay. It's time now for picks with a special cameo coming from Brew at the end. So, Greg, if you want to start with your pick. I don't even know who you're taking, really, to be honest with you.
We know.
Yeah, I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay.
I just think they have a little bit more offensively than what the Minnesota Vikings can handle right now.
Yeah, I'm also going with the Ravens. That's mostly head, a little heart, because I don't want the Ravens to be done.
Oh, I'm 50% heart because I love Lamar, and 50% head because Lamar's unstoppable. Ravens, moderately easy.
I like that our picker thing is leaving Greg 50-50.
Yeah, what is that?
It might be a technical error.
No,
it's because he's the former Viking?
Yeah, who knows?
I want to say I think I just said the wrong team.
Wow.
I think I did because
you're picking the Vikings.
I do this thing. I always have to make sure that I see who you guys pick, and then.
Hold on, you're changing your pick?
Yeah, I'm going with the Vikings.
Okay, that was a solid analysis.
Going with
there.
the Vikings.
Great job by us, Brew. What's your
I am going, of course, with the Ravens, and I cooked up a little headline for you guys. Monday morning headline.
What a treat.
Here we go. Baltimore's transformed tackler's toy with JJ and the Vikings. Say you love it. You know you love it.
I gotta tell you, I feel like this whole last 60 seconds isn't going on our Emmy.
Transformed tackler's toy?
I gotta tell you, Brew, we get it.
The play on words from T7?
We're just gonna go to break.
I gotta tell you, this is that pass right there. That's what we just did.
100%. And I was Bo Nix right there.
Jealousy does not look good on you.
Live from New York, it's First Things First overtime.
I stand by that decision.
We're talking to Danny Parkins.
He's just so cheap.
But he's cheap, but he is
he
like
tries
out
to be like
on
a
change.
big shot. He's like, I don't need change.
I don't.
Yet when it was his turn to buy lunch for me and Hubs, he ordered 2 orders of fries for the 3 of us, with the justification being they're big orders.
They are big
so we're
orders of
we're like
fries.
going in there like having to divvy up.
That's
like,
right.
wait a minute, there's 3 of us, so what? We each get 2/3
How many sodas
of
do
it.
you get?
Zero.
I mean,
Zero.
No
Drink
drinks.
water at the house.
Water?
No,
I drank
We have it in the studio.
Exactly.
We have beverages here.
This
Not
guy,
buying these
I'm
guys
telling you,
drinks
this
for
guy's
lunch.
the cheapest
Yeah,
guy,
you
but
are-
all
you
of a
are
sudden
pretty
he's like, oh, keep my pennies.
Yeah, that's honest.
It's just true.
Today,
I
a fresh
pinky ring.
edition of Parkins Picks.
That's true.
How is Parkins Picks doing? Hot or
Terrible.
not?
This is why we got to split fries, okay?
No,
it's going poorly.
He's doing
It's going
bad.
poorly?
Yeah.
I mean, better than this guy. But
You guys.
Meanwhile, Lamar's facing a must-win. Greg Jennings, Willie Colon join overtime in about 20 minutes. But right now,
I lifted the ban on puns for overtime. It's stop, collaborate, and listen.
That's good.
I get it.
I like it.
I didn't love it. Giants at Bears, Sunday at 1 on Fox. Caleb said the vibes are great earlier in this week. Today, his coach agreed. Take a listen.
We've got opportunities right now and we got playmakers to come back, and we're never out of it. And so, I don't know. I wasn't here, so I can't say what a difference was. But I think those guys understood that there's a certain narrative out there about them, and they wanted to change that narrative.
Danny, are you willing to guarantee a Bears victory over the New York Giants?
No. Guarantee?
You really lost your confidence.
No. I think the Bears will win. I think they'll win. They'll probably win. Guarantee? I was born. I wasn't born yesterday. I've seen this Bears team lose way worse games.
Isn't this Bears team supposed to be different?
Yeah, I know.
Isn't Caleb supposed to be different?
Aren't you and Ben Johnson like text buddies now?
Hold on a second. This is no disrespect to Caleb Williams or friend of the show,
like
Ben Johnson, or hopefully eventual friend of the show, Caleb Williams. The invitation has been extended.
He's friend of the show. We had him on the show.
Yeah, he's friend of the First Things First.
That was when he was the 6th best quarterback.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, pre-NFL, pre-Bear, Caleb Williams.
Okay,
Okay,
go ahead.
well, I'm just saying they are going to need to be good for probably like years before I'm willing to guarantee a victory.
But the Giants stink.
Nick, I have too many scars, buddy. I don't know that I would guarantee a victory over Rutgers.
Okay.
Much less.
We're standing
much
on
less
quicksand.
No, but here, listen. I do think this team is not bad, and they have the potential to be good, and they have beaten bad teams. So they should win. Like, I can show you what they've done against the bad teams to make the case for it. I just am taking umbrage with the word guarantee. Yeah. Against teams with a losing record this year, they're 5-1 and they've looked great. So I expect
the Giants have,
and the Giants have a losing record. So the Bears should win the game. But I'm not setting myself up for a broken heart. I have fallen for that time and time. Save the segment.
Yeah, I'm stunned. I have to tell you, I'm
Guarantee?
stunned. Yeah, of course. It's Brew go, and then
Did I mess up?
Yeah. It's just sad.
There you go. Brew.
I mean, I look at this as an indictment on your belief in Caleb.
Yes.
You guys are
This is not only the Giants who are a bad
Bears
team,
win. Bears guarantee
but
Bears win. No.
The Giants who are crestfallen.
Correct.
They've lost several of their best young players. First neighbors, now Scatterboot. Like, they know the season's over. They're deflated. They had to win last week to try to get it going. I think that they are mentally not there. And the Bears, this is a bad team you are facing. You guys are right in the smack of the playoff hunt.
Yeah.
Caleb coming off a great game. I'm looking at it as Caleb needs to cook. This is a type of game I want to see him play well, and then he has, because the Giants, their defense has been good, but I think in the state that they're in right now, he needs to go out there and make them pay the price. I am just shocked, though,
I am too.
at your disbelief in Caleb.
It's not disbelief, and it certainly isn't disbelief in Caleb.
It definitely is.
No, it is not.
Definitely is.
Definitely not.
Oh, wait a second, man.
Guarantee a win.
Buddy,
Guarantee a win.
You're at home in a game you've got to have.
You guys don't watch the NFL.
With the team. No. Okay, no, listen, nobody's going to chop off your hand if you're wrong. It's not, and so, yes, there is a bit of, I guess,
any given Sunday,
creative license to guarantee. But are you as confident as one can be in a football game that the Bears, when they've got to have it against a Giants team that I believe is done? I believe that Giants loss to the Broncos, and I said it the day after, might end up being the Bears' loss to Washington last year, the Hail Mary game. It broke the team. That the coach gets fired because of it. That we look at that moment as that team was like, oh, sneaky competitive. Because remember, the Giants were coming off the Eagles win. They were dominating that game. And then they are just a shell of that team. So I agree with Brew. This is maybe unintentional, But this is a crack in your faith in Caleb.
It is not.
Then
I don't even think the Bears. Listen, I think the Giants' defense is the second worst rush defense in football. I think it's going to be windy at Soldier Field. They're saying 20 to 30 mile an hour winds. I think Kyle Monungai could rush for another 175 yards like he did last week.
So why not guarantee the W?
I watched the game against Cincinnati, and it took a miracle for them to win. The Bears' defense. Also bad. I think the Bears will move the ball on the Giants. I think Caleb will be fine. I think the Bears will win. They're 4.5-point favorites. They're not good enough yet for me to write in pen or ink that they are guaranteed to win.
Where's the base?
They lost to Snoop Huntley 3 weeks ago.
Brew, you willing to guarantee a win over the Vikings?
He's got Lamar Jackson. He's got
there we go.
He's got
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Lamar Jackson.
Caleb Williams is not Lamar
in
Jackson.
My quarterback.
Caleb Williams is not Lamar Jackson. That's not a weird
I will
thing
lower
to say.
the bar.
Okay.
Can you guarantee me, although it's going to be windy,
I'm sorry for doing that now.
Caleb Williams will outplay Jackson Dart?
Yeah, I can guarantee you that. I can guarantee that.
Really?
I got no problem with that.
Okay.
I got no problem.
I'm trying to get you somewhere.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that I had to just be like, absolutely.
Well,
There's no scenario
question.
where a Bears team that lost to Snoop Huntley, that has all of their secondary out, that's a 4-point favorite, is just a tier 1 upper echelon guaranteed victory of a team.
Then the real story is, if we're done pillaring Danny,
take your
which
time.
we could keep going for the rest of the show if you guys wanted.
It's a pastime.
Is the person, I think it's fair to say, on this show who pays the most attention to the Bears is legitimately worried about this game. Has concerns. Yeah, but remove the Bears scar tissue and this team with Ben Johnson and Caleb, this team that you think that under the right circumstances, doesn't sound like it would shock you if the Giants, to me, here's the other reason that I am oddly confident about the Bears this weekend. I think it's a really, really rough look if your playoff hopes get extinguished by a bad team. And I think that when we're talking about the NFC, and I don't know if we can throw up our NFC playoff bracket or not, the Bears are right there, but it's a bunch of teams we think are really good ahead of them. There's no one ahead of them that we're like, oh man, that team's a fraudulent. That team's about to have a 4-game losing streak. So the Bears can win this game and wake up Monday morning still in 8th place, right? But losing this game is devastating.
Oh, listen, if they lose the game, you've been saying if the Ravens lose, their season's over. If the Bears lose the game, and we could throw up the Bears' schedule, it's very difficult to find a path to 10 wins.
Yes.
If the Bears lose. So they need to win. They should win. But you say remove Bears scar tissue, that's an easy phrase for you to say. It's not an easy thing to do. But it's not. It gets very difficult here in 2 weeks. So yeah, hopefully they win these next 2 games. They should win at least this one against the Giants. And then there's going to be a lot of coin tosses the rest of the way.
Yeah, and yes, I agree with the coin tosses piece. And I don't even think the week after the Bears game or the Giants game would be a bad loss, losing on the road in division.
No.
That wouldn't be you want to win, but that wouldn't be a bad loss. This would be a horrible loss. Let me ask you this, Brew,
After that, I would like to make an announcement.
Oh wow.
Oh boy.
Oh, this is.
I've disappointed Wilds.
The question I was going to ask is, as we sit here today, how many teams in the league do we think are worse than the Giants this moment? And the Titans, the Saints, the Jets, and after that, and
Dolphins maybe.
Dolphins, Browns maybe. You know what I mean? They are the 5th or 6th worst team, and so that's if the Bears are good, they're at home in a game they need, with not like they suffered their version of the Tucker Kraft injury a week ago that we haven't seen since then. They should win.
But Danny clearly
cover.
doesn't think they're
What's
good.
the announcement?
The announcement is this.
Oh, boy.
The first Super Bowl I ever watched, Patriots-Bears.
Yeah.
Bears beat the Patriots. And obviously I grew up a Patriots fan. But oddly, I was like, oh, the Bears. They were always kind of like this, shining light on the hill.
Yeah.
My wife went to Wisconsin. She, has a lot of friends in Chicago. I go to Chicago a lot. Caleb was a friend of the show. We had him on in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Right now, can I go to this camera, please? Am willing to guarantee you that Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson will beat the Giants, and I become the Bears guy on the show. It's guaranteed.
Wow.
That's what you're looking for.
I mean, that's
how precarious these
this is tough.
holds on your teams are.
I was an Anthony Edwards guy. You should have seen me. Yeah. Next thing you know, I was in a commercial getting ripped. It's a true story.
That is true. Wow.
Time now for Parkins.
That's really backfired.
Really
I am seeing the NFL very clearly. This is the official pick segment. I plug into the matrix. I see the league clearly. I'm not going to let 3-0 change me. I'm not scared of picking big games, taking the points with Detroit. Play in the wood with the Chicago Bears. Easy, easier, and easiest. I know that I'm right.
Time now for Parkins picks. Here's the review of last week.
It was not good.
Well,
it was not good. And the worst part about it is that Nick and I won the same game. We both won on Seattle, and we both went 1-2. And I am a very embarrassing 13-14. But Nick said to me, he said, you can't wear the king costume today.
Yeah, you're under 500.
Yeah. And then I said, you know what, you're probably right. And then I thought to myself, should I be taking picks advice or fashion advice from a guy with a worse record than me?
I'm not asking you to take picks advice, but you're under 500. Have some dignity.
This will get you over the hump.
Nick,
3-0.
Dignity left the station a long time ago. Okay. I don't know what you're talking. We've known each other too long for you to assign dignity or shame to me. But where I agree with you is I need 3-0.
Yeah.
So, to the, what is it, week 10?
Yeah.
Feels like week 10. Week 10 picks. Wilds, your Patriots, plus 2.5 in Tampa. Yes, Tampa is at home, and yes, Tampa is coming off a bye. Yes, Tampa's offensive line is getting healthier. Both teams are banged up with the skill positions. I do think Tampa inflated based on the fourth quarter comebacks. Their record is a little bit better than what their team actually suggests they are. And Drake Maye on the road, for real. The Patriots this year, 4-0 against the spread on the road. They've been shattering the expectations. Maye has been awesome. I simply think right now today, the Patriots are a better team than Tampa, so I think they win the game outright. I certainly will take the 2.5 points, even though Tampa is coming off the bye, and bye weeks have been very good for teams this year. My second pick in Week 10, there we go. Eagles plus 2.5. Eagles off the bye in Green Bay. Philly's offense the first 6 weeks was one of the biggest stories on the show. What's going on with Saquon? What's going on with the offensive line? What's going on with A.J. Brown? What's going on with Jalen Hurts? Last two games, they look like the Eagles from last year. Saquon Barkley had his best game before the bye. The offensive line had its best game before the bye. Jalen Hurts had his best game 2 weeks ago at this point. Tucker Kraft out for Green Bay. The rest advantage for Philadelphia. The Packers' running game has not looked good so far this year. I am a believer. This is two outright upsets. Eagles and Patriots win the game outright. And last but not least, the Baltimore Ravens in Minnesota. I think this is a double-digit win for Baltimore. That Minnesota-Detroit game was weird. I think you play that game 10 times. Detroit wins 8 of them. I really do not believe in what I saw from Minnesota last week. But more than that, the Ravens look back. And what does Brian Flores do? Everyone knows, what does Brian Flores do? He blitzes. How's Lamar against the blitz? The best quarterback in football since the start of last year. First across the board. So this would have been the type of thing that could have knocked Lamar off maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago. He's a fully formed offensive player at this point. There was basically no rust first quarter and a half or so last week. He looked spectacular. The mobility looked good. He wasn't scrambling, but he was moving around to throw. I don't think Flores is going to be able to get home. Ravens win that game in Minnesota easy. I firmly expect this to be a 3-0 week.
Well, we both can't have 3-0 weeks because we have the opposite side of Patriots-Bucks. So
which makes me happy.
Okay, go ahead, bro.
Makes me happy.
Eagles-Packers. I mean, look, like I said, I like the Eagles. I think there's a lot of reasons to think they're going to win. But what you didn't take into consideration is how Jordan Love, J-Lo, picks up his game in the second half of the season.
Yeah, I like this.
He's been much better.
Good,
I think if they show the graphic, he's been much better in the second half of seasons than the first. And he's played well this first half of the season, but he's going to take it to another level. And they need, look, even though the Eagles have lost twice as well, I think the Packers need this much more than the Eagles. I mean, obviously the Eagles' division isn't nearly as tough.
Well, there's no question.
Yeah, Packers definitely need the game more.
Yeah, and they're at home. Lost last week at home to a bad team in Carolina. So I think the Packers got this one.
But I will say, Brew, and you weren't here yesterday, J-Lo was on the dud list.
Yeah, I mean,
so all right,
that factors in.
I might put him on the bud
Before I
list.
give my take, a question about Eagles-Packers. Because before the year, even post-Micah Parsons trade, you had the Packers missing the playoffs barely.
That's
I think you had them as like the first team out.
Yep.
If they lose this game, they'll be 5-3-1. That's what I was going to ask you. With everything you've seen, you expect the Eagles obviously to cover, but I also think you're picking them to win.
Yes, I am.
So right now, this moment, you think the Packers are going to play themselves out of the playoffs?
They've been better than I thought. Listen, I think it's more likely, obviously, that they make the playoffs than miss. I think they're like a 5-1 favorite to make the playoffs. You'd have to get them at like 3.5-1 for them to miss the playoffs. But I'll say this, it's more likely that the Packers miss the playoffs than they're the 1 seed.
Oh, yeah.
I do not think.
I agree with that. I know they were the 1 seed a week ago.
Yeah, they were the 1 seed a week ago. They're in first place in their division. But the Eagles' path to the 1 seed is just much easier. The Packers will probably make the playoffs. There's 9 teams in the NFC with 5 or more wins.
Yeah, but one of them's fraudulent Bears, who you don't believe in, which was my real.
That's what I said.
Well,
not what I
it's
said.
not what you didn't say in the first 10 minutes, and it's not what you said during Parkins picks, because I don't know about you guys. Hey, KW, if your Patriots were 4-point favorites at home against a woebegone Giants team, would you like it? Hey, Brew, if your Ravens were a 4.5-point favorite at home against a woebegone Giants team, I'm just telling you right now, at the very least, if I won't guarantee it, I would have it in my picks. I would say I think my team's more likely to beat up on the Giants than the Patriots are to go to Tampa and win. You're real nervous.
Nick.
You think they're going to lose.
Let me explain something.
You think they're going to lose.
Listen, maybe it's your first time gambling, but if the Chiefs were a 4.5-point favorite against the Giants, I guarantee it for the Chiefs too. Yeah. But the Chiefs would be like a 10.5-point favorite.
I understand. I understand.
They're better. All of your teams are better than my team. The Patriots are better than the Bears, the Ravens are better than the Bears, and the Chiefs are better than the Bears.
You're worried.
The fact that Ben Johnson still comes on with you is...
I know, it's remarkable.
He doesn't respect homers. He knows that I'll tell it to him straight.
Hey,
run the ball, Ben.
I do think that was a 3-0 week. I'm rooting for Nick's picks, but I think that a 3-0 week.
Really?
Honestly,
I love that.
It feels a lot like 1 and 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it feels a lot like 1 and 2.
I like it a lot.
Side bet on which one of us gets
coming
back
up next.
first? Sure. Great.
Herbert versus Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, who knows?
Who knows?
I mean, who knows what he's going to say?
We thought it was Justin Herbert.
He's probably going to come on and be like, I don't, without Joe Alt. Like, what are
That's fair analysis.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Willie Colon and Greg Jennings hanging out. Halloween made a quick comeback in Denver last night with all the boos coming from Broncos fans. You get it? For Bo Nix. He actually won the game. But Bo Nix described the not-so-friendly atmosphere in Denver. Take a listen.
I've been booed before, and I'll be booed again, so not going to be the last time. It's obviously unfortunate. You don't want your own fans booing you, but, it's part of it.
More like Boo Nix, am I right? AFC West standings, Chargers a comfortable 8-2, but basically even money to win the division because we all have eyes, and we watched the game last night. So after watching that, do you guys think the Chiefs can catch up to the Broncos?
So obviously they have some work to do. Can they catch up? Yes. If the Broncos are going to be what we saw last night offensively, that's going to end up being problematic. The good thing about the Broncos is their defense is for real. You had your defensive player of the year, if I remember.
Bonito, baby.
Nick Bonito.
He's awesome.
A problem.
Yeah, you weren't wrong.
And he sets the tone for that defense in terms of being able to disrupt what the offense wants to do, throwing the football and allowing everybody else to then do their part. But Bo Nix has to be better. I didn't even like what I heard with the idea of, I've been booed once before. Yeah, we get that, but understand why they're booing you too, because you were really bad.
Good point.
Like it was, and I got this team I had this team at the beginning of the season making the playoffs. I thought Bo Nix would take a step, and I'm not saying it's over, but he just has to be better. Last night was hard to watch as a fan, as a former player. Kudos to the guys in that locker room on that offensive side of the ball, sticking with them and not letting whatever their frustrations are get outside that locker room, because I'm sure they have them.
Yeah, I think historically the Chiefs, this time of year, when the temperature drops, they turn up, right? I got a graphic right here to show you what Patrick Mahomes looks like in the month of November. He dominates, right? You talk about total yards per game, 331 plus his winning percentage. So overall, I'm expecting him in this offense to take flight right now. And I think if you're the Chiefs and you remain in sync and play unselfish with the defense coming into fruition, you got blood in your mouth because you took the L in Buffalo, you're coming off a bye. I expect historically this Chiefs team to say, okay, we got to go. And to Greg's point, when you watch the Denver Broncos on offense, you laugh at it, right? Be like, oh, this is what we should be worried about? Oh, this is easy money, right? And so I'm looking at this Chiefs team to say, yeah, we have 2 head-to-heads. We got one on the 16th. The next one is December 25th. We got to have those, because if we go half and half, then it doesn't matter.
Right, and the first one is out of the bye. So can the Chiefs catch the Broncos? Yes, obviously they can. They're 2 back in the loss column, and they play them twice, so they definitely can catch them. You ever watch a football game and kind of resent it? I kind of resented the game last night. So this game is so bad, but it's like prime time. It's standalone. Yeah. You're watching it. We love football. Like both teams had more penalties than first downs.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Troy looked it up for me. First time since 1976, more penalties than first downs. And I have left the Broncos off of Top 10 Tuesday all year. Their defense is great, but I just don't believe in Bo Nix. He's either throwing behind the line of scrimmage or he's chucking it deep. Their defense is great, but I'm like, you're going to have to do something offensively. And they are on this winning streak. They have not lost since week 3. But there is something about this 7-0 stretch for the Broncos that doesn't seem sustainable, and I will show you. Because they have been trailing in every game.
Yeah. They're horrible in the first quarter.
But look at in terms of since week 4, most snaps tied or trailing, and then the win-loss record of those teams. Because if you're losing for large portions of the game, you often lose the game. They are 5th on the list for most snaps while tied or trailing, yet they're undefeated. That is the least sustainable football ever. So maybe they'll get to 11 wins. They probably will because of the schedule and the defense, and they'll make the playoffs. But this team is not a real contender. Yeah, they're just not.
You said something a little while ago. The reason why we hated last night's game, because if you watch what they did against the Giants in the fourth quarter and how they rallied and put up points and they looked explosive, at some point during this game, I thought we were going to see that, right? Because for me, the Raiders
needed to see it.
We needed to see it. But for me, the Raiders were just beating themselves. I was expecting the Broncos to turn it up, wake up, and be like, all right, this is why you're here. This is why we're on prime time, and this is why you should watch next week's game. I saw none of that. And so I'm more worried about the Broncos going for it, because if you play like this at home, Thursday night football with the world watching, and you got the Chiefs next week, I mean, the Chiefs are like, man, feed me my biscuits. I'm ready to eat, if that's how they're going to play.
Yeah, I already bet the Chiefs -3.
Yeah, well I mean, look, every team that they've played has watched this tape. Yeah. We watched it last night on the national scene, and we know how we felt. Imagine being in the film study room, and this is your opponent coming up. You feel the same way. And somehow, some way, that team seems to find a way to be in the game and then come out victorious with that type of a performance, being their constant.
There's always also like, they're bad games. There's blowouts all the time. They couldn't even punt correctly. Yeah. They kept shanking punts. Yeah. The game was just a ridiculous watch. And you brought up the Raiders, and we don't talk about them often, and they're 2-7. But Brock Bowers is one of the best football players. He's like a polar bear that catches the ball. He's unbelievable. He had 3 targets last night.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
What are you in the one catch that he had? He's shedding dudes off and running for 31 yards. Maybe throw him the ball.
And somebody said this last night on the telecast in reference to the Broncos' poor play, that maybe they're just looking ahead to next week.
On a Thursday?
That's BS, right? This is a team that had to perform and didn't perform to the standard in which we expected them to, and they should be thrown stoned because of it, honestly.
All right, so let's stay in the AFC West here. Justin Herbert and the Chargers. Huge game this weekend, Sunday night. Got the Steelers in L.A. Herbert against the Steelers defense and just the pressures, and we know what it is, right? The Steelers sack the quarterback, they pressure the quarterback, and Justin Herbert gets sacked and gets pressured a ton. So that is the X's and O's matchup of the game. Can the Chargers offensive line hold up against the Steelers? And so the question is, can Herbert overcome it? And what I will say, and we'll get more into it, but he has to. I really don't see a formula for the Chargers. People are like, oh, well, why don't they run the ball like last year? I don't know, because they're on their 10th starting offensive lineman and their 3rd string running back. Their starting running back literally was on the practice squad at the beginning of the year. And the guy Penning, who they just traded for from the Saints, will be their 10th starter on the offensive line. And you've got a top 5 talent in the league at quarterback. He's your only path. They're not going to be able to run the ball. So if they win, it's because of Herbert.
Yeah, and this is going to be a shocker, but to me, this feels like a letdown game.
For
the Steelers.
Really? On Sunday night?
Because I just don't know if their defense can perform the way they performed last Sunday. It took such a Herculean effort. And Ballard, they shut down the run, and TJ popped off the tape. Ramsey did well. Kyle Duggar had a big game. It really took Alex Highsmith to get back into being who they needed him to be.
But isn't this a blood in the water situation if you're the Steelers because of all the backups on the offense? I'm surprised to hear you, a Steeler, say that.
Because the defense is what makes me nervous. They have been inconsistent this year.
That's no question.
That's what makes me. If this was a more of a consistent brand, I'm saying, yeah, we'll go to LA and do what we do. It took them 3 weeks to get right? They had one good game. Now you're going to go on the road against Herbert. You know he's going to wear the cape. I just feel like this is going to be a letdown game. I want to be wrong.
Yeah.
But there's something in my stomach is telling me, hold your horses.
Wow. So for me, it doesn't even need to be a letdown game for the Steelers to lose this game, because if somehow, some way, the Chargers can get any sign of protection to where Herbert can drop back and be able to find guys open with a little bit of time. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to get hit. He's probably going to get hit. However, if he has that, they're going to be in a dogfight, because he's one of the best in the business as far as spraying the ball around and getting guys open and making plays. And when you look at this defense, they're a defense that can be very opportunistic. If you leave the Chargers opportunities, they will take advantage of it. And he's shown us this year, to a degree, not on the grand scale like we want him to see in the postseason or in the prime moment, but this is a prime moment where Justin Herbert, regardless of what he needs to overcome on his team or otherwise, he's been able to do it. I think this is what he knows he needs to do. I listened to him in the presser earlier this week, and just about all the offensive line mix-ups and whatever, and he was as steady as I've heard a quarterback. He didn't mention it. He didn't allude to that being an excuse, reason. He's like, yeah, we got to be better for those guys. They're going to be out, so we need to just step up and.
Because that's the world he lives in now. He understands it is what it is.
It was different because you normally hear somebody kind of speak to it. He never spoke to it. He said, the guys are doing a great job. I got to be better. And he spoke to just what he believes that they really can get done. So I'm interested to see if he can really deliver.
So that's great leadership. I want to. My buddy, friend of the show, Nick's mentioned him a bunch, Andrew Filipponi, does radio in Pittsburgh, covers the Steelers. He texted us this morning and he was like, man, Parkins, you're in a great spot, because if the Chargers win, you get to say Herbert played great. And if the Steelers win, you get to just blame it on the Chargers offensive line. And I'm like, yeah, you basically figured it out. But is that, yes, I believe in Herbert's talent, but is that not also what is happening right now? If Herbert just throws it to the other team blindly and has terrible interceptions, fine. But if he is under duress 50% of the time he drops back because he's playing against a great defense on paper with backup offensive linemen, one player cannot single-handedly win games in the NFL.
We've kind of talked about this before. He's not allowed to get the pass because of where he stands right now and how we view him. And when you have a deficient offensive line, and yeah, you may have weapons on the outside, and you have a spotty running back, I think Kamani Vidal is going to be an answer for them, especially offensively. He's going to give Herbert a lot of quick outs. But Herbert has to be better than what we already know, because that's what we're expecting him to be. And so if he's not able to do that against a really good defense in the Pittsburgh Steelers, we now question, because we've seen Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen stand up in the face of adversity. So that's why you sit back and say, all right, here's another statement game, another big test on Sunday night versus Aaron Rodgers. Go put on the cape. If you can't, then we're going to keep putting you in the B level.
I mean, if he does, it'll be the story of the week next week, because this is a very, very tough spot for him. Lamar Jackson is back, and the Ravens have lost basically all margin for error. We'll discuss the opportunity for a win streak coming up on FTF. Time now ahead of Week 10 for a little edition of Trust or Bust. We're starting with Drake Maye and Baker Mayfield. The Bucs host the Patriots in a battle of two first-place teams. Take a look at the quarterbacks, see how they match up against each other throughout the year. Baker was a big MVP candidate early. Numbers have regressed a little bit, still very impressive, especially the touchdown to interception ratio and the rushing. His scrambling this year has been great. Drake Maye has just been awesome across the board. So, Greg, I'll start with you on this one. You trust Drake Maye to outplay Baker Mayfield?
I don't trust Drake Maye to outplay Baker Mayfield.
Wow. All right.
Not because of who Drake Maye is and what we've been able to see, but in this spot, this is a tough spot. You got a veteran guy who's been playing bad. Going into the break, Baker was not playing at that high MVP talks level, and he gets time to rest, gets time to assess himself, recoup, and recalibrate. He's been heroic. He's had heroics. Now he's going to understand this is the back stretch of the season, a very important opponent. I had extra time to study and prep for you. I think Baker will come out ready to go.
Yeah, I trust the kid.
I do too.
I trust the kid in Tampa, man. Listen, he's been top 5 in yards. He's explosive. I think if he's on time with the football, they move his launch point, and they live in 12 personnel where they can stress the edges for the Bucs, I think gives him a shot. The thing about Baker right now, he's being efficient and conservative. When Drake is saying, I'm going for it, he kind of has that young boxer, like, I'm looking for knockouts. I like that about that. You need that on the road, especially when you're going against a hostile defense in the Bucs. I trust Drake Maye, man.
So we'll see how healthy Ibuka looks for Baker, but I'm with you on Drake Maye. Like, both teams are banged up. The Bucs offensive line is getting healthier. They're at home. They're off the bye. I understand all of that. But you mentioned it, Greg. Like, that game against the Saints, they had one offensive touchdown.
Yeah.
It was a lot of long field goals. Like, they won comfortably. I understand that. They won by 20. But he didn't look good. The offense did not look good. The week before against the Lions, one offensive touchdown. They scored, I think, 9 points in that game.
He didn't look good in that game.
And he didn't look good. He didn't look good in that game. Drake Maye has looked good every game.
Every game.
Like, he hasn't won every game, but he takes a lot of sacks.
And that's a problem right there.
And the Bucs, I think, are 5th in the NFL in sacks.
Yeah.
No, he takes a lot of sacks, but he looks good. Like, the Bucs could win. I think it'll be a great game. I picked the Patriots, but I do give the slight edge to Drake Maye just based on the consistency. He doesn't have the last 2 data points that Baker has.
Yeah, I understand. The last really quick point that I'll make is the Bucs defense, 15 of their 25 sacks have come in the last 3 weeks, so they're coming on strong. If Drake Maye decides to continue holding onto the ball, he's going to take.
But they have to know better going into this game. They got to move him. They can't have him sitting away and think he's going to be Brady-esque. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, and he took a lot of accountability for that this week. He did. He was like, these sacks are mostly on me, not on the offensive line, so we'll see if he can improve on it. Let's go to the Bay. Huge game here in the NFC West. Stafford and the Rams are 4.5-point favorites in San Francisco Sunday. The last time these two teams met, back in Week 5, the Rams were 8.5-point favorites because it was like, well, Mac Jones can't do this. And then Mac Jones did it. Like, that game was probably the best game of Mac Jones' career.
He balled, man.
340 passing yards, 2 touchdowns,
Yep.
no picks, an overtime win in a division game in that spot. So will you trust Stafford to avoid another upset to the Niners?
No, because for me, it's not about Mac Jones versus Stafford. This is about Shanahan's scheme versus Stafford. If you're the 49ers right now, you have to win this game on the ground. You got to allow CMC to be that dog that he's been throughout his career. And you also got to realize you got to play a physical brand of football. Hopefully it goes against what the Rams want to do. And I think Shanahan right now understands that Stafford is playing the best ball I've seen in his own career. Like, he's damn near playing perfect. So you're going to have to play some ball control and own the time of possession to keep him on the sideline. But I trust the scheme versus Stafford, man. I think Kyle Shanahan is going to have something drawn up for him offensively.
This trust bus is tough.
Well, we don't make it easy on OT. I'm not asking easy questions.
Clearly, I trust Matthew Stafford. I do. I like the Niners. I trust Matthew Stafford because, look, Sean McVay is his coordinator.
Sure.
He's going to come with a game plan. He knows how to beat this team and compete against them, and he's been putting Matthew Stafford in some awesome situations. Anytime they get down in the red zone, they're almost money good. Matthew Stafford's playing, like you said, the best ball of his life. He's healthy. Yeah. I did not believe he would be this healthy. And a healthy Matthew Stafford with Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, and a running game that can support what they do, it's going to be hard for the 49ers to do what they did the first time.
So I'm trusting Stafford here. I think the Rams are going to win this game. It's hard to say it was the weirdest game of the season, but I do think it was in my top 5 the first time these two teams met. Because, I saw that Denver Giants game. Yeah. That's the weirdest game of the season. There have been other weird ones. But, man, the Rams had 2 turnovers. Niners had none. Kyron Williams fumbled at the goal line. Rams are driving in overtime, and they go for it on 4th and 1, and McVay has that terrible play call where they run right into the line of scrimmage, give the ball back, lose on a field goal. Now the Niners' defensive injuries are piling up. Mikael Williams, their first-round pick, is out. Fred Warner is out. Fred Warner played in that game back in Week 5. So, the Niners' defense against a Rams offense that is rolling, and they've got revenge on their mind, and this division is one of the most competitive in the NFL. I just can't see Mac Jones doing it twice. I can't do it.
Well, they also get Kendrick Bourne and Juan Jennings back. I know Purcell's kind of off and on where he's at.
Yeah, the Niners are getting healthier offensively.
They didn't have Kittle in that game. Right. They didn't have Jennings in that game.
But they're not as healthy defensively.
I understand.
It's a trade-off.
Yeah, but you got to score. And when you know what Stafford can do, and we talked about the rhythm in which he plays with, you got to put up points. So they have the firepower to do so.
But how much better can Mac Jones play? He had 340 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no picks without, to your point, Kittle, Pearsall, and Jennings. So you're telling me he's going to have 500 yards?
No.
In this game? He can't be better.
It up.
But I feel like he can kind of repeat that because he has the guys on the outside and the perimeter that can support what he provides this offense. Look, this is why it's tough.
Yeah, I think it goes into, listen, that Week 5 game, I think the Rams walked in Mac Jones ain't going to beat us. Come on. I think they scoffed at the notion. And then to your point, put up 342 yards and 2 touchdowns. You're like, okay. All right, so let's calm down now. Mac Jones is a guy. I don't think he's going to run up on them now. That's why you have to put the ball in CMC. Hopefully you can win with him.
I stayed away from it in picks, but it's one of the biggest games of the week. Ravens in Minnesota for our last one here. Feels like the first time all season. No injuries. Baltimore's injury report is pretty clean. Everyone's a full participant. Wednesday's injury report, yesterday's. Ravens coming off back-to-back wins. How they looked in those games is very Ravens-esque. Scoring nearly 30, great defense, outgaining the opponent, everything you would want to see. So do you guys trust that the Ravens will win their 3rd straight?
Yeah, I expect the Ravens to not only win but dominate. The interior of the Vikings defensive line is softer than hospital cotton. It's been a problem for them all year. I expect the Ravens to look on brand. Their speed and power. Lamar has a legit option. Derrick Henry, this defense is healthier. Kyle Hamilton's playing a lot better. I think overall, they roll the Vikings. I don't even think this game is close.
Well, I don't think it's going to be a steamroll. I actually have the Vikings. I know earlier I kind of fumbled this a little bit because I do like the offense of the Ravens. However, if the Vikings can run the football, which I believe that they can, just like most people against the Ravens because of their interior issues, then that allows your young quarterback to gain confidence. Brian Flores is going to have a plan against Lamar. Will it work? We shall see. Lamar tends to hold the ball a little bit long. And we saw against Detroit, holding the ball, trying to extend plays, make plays, took 7 sacks. That's kind of the game that if you're the Vikings, you want to have Lamar play, knowing that he's still going to get you every once in a while. But the Vikings definitely will have a chance to get this done.
But that Detroit game is an interesting data point here. I would just say, what does Brian Flores do?
Blitz.
He blitzes.
Yeah.
How is Lamar against the blitz?
Awesome.
I mean,
love it when a graphic just speaks for you.
I'm just saying, it's not hard when it's first across the board. But he's just first with a bullet against the blitz.
And what's their record? because he's been so awesome. They probably haven't lost any games, huh?
Well, no, they occasionally lose.
And that's just checking. Just checking.
Since the start
Just
of
checking.
last year.
I don't know.
His
graphic was so good. It was like,
it's a pretty good.
First. It's like,
It's pretty good. It's a pretty good graphic. And so I think the Ravens defense also, they look good, man. They Hamilton makes them look healthy. I know you scoff at who they've done it against, but what happened to them last year where they were terrible early and then they turned it on late, I am open to the possibility that what everybody thought about the Ravens before the year, which was basically this is the most talented 53-man roster in the league, I'm open to the possibility that now that those guys are all healthy, that is still in play for this Ravens team this year.
Look, it's still in play. But if you're the Vikings, you're looking at all that tape and you understand that they're getting healthy, but you believe in who you are. You understand if you're Brian Flores, like, look, he might be that good against the blitz and against pressure, but we also know he has the tendency to not even get outside the pocket and use his greatest weapon, which is his legs, because he's such a great passer at this stage in his career. So you bank on him holding the ball and getting him down.
I also know the Ravens know they understand the assignment. There's no room for error.
No.
They got to have it. Like this is health, urgency, win or lose. If we want a place at the table, we got to get them out the way.
Yeah, they cannot be dropping any more games where they're the favorite. Probably the biggest game of the week. We got to wait till Monday for it, but it's Greg's Packers, and Willie's been on the Eagles all year, so we're going to pick sides coming up. Monday night, forget the 1 seed in the NFC. It's an OT showdown. Willie's Eagles traveling to Greg's Packers. Packers coming off a loss. Eagles got their offense clicking. They're coming off their Week 9 bye. Gentlemen, you guys just each taking your respective squads on Monday night. You got your Packers?
Of course. You know I got the Packers.
And you have your Eagles?
I have my Eagles. Okay. Saquon, I know it's 50-50 if he's going to play. Dickinson's banged up. But this is a game where if you're A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, you bump hands and say, let's go get him, right? You get on the same page. Hopefully you have a repeat of what you did in Minnesota. But I expect the ball to fly Monday night, starting with that man right there, number 1, Jalen Hurts.
Micah had a very quiet outing against the Carolina Panthers. He's seen this offensive line a handful of times. I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, Eagles are. I love this game. Like, Eagles are off the bye, but it's in Lambeau at night. Jordan Love in the weird game, and they lose as the big favorite. But Eagles coming off their 2 best games off right. The game against Minnesota, Jalen Hurts is the perfect passer rating. The last game, Saquon has his best game. I like the Eagles in this spot. And what will be hilarious is if they win the game, and they're comfortably the 1 seed, and everyone else is bad in their division, it'll be like all of the drama and all of the talk, and it'll look like they've got a cakewalk to the 1 seed.
Well, I think it just proves to the fact that they can win in multiple ways, and that's a good thing, right? That's not something you look at and be like, like we don't have an identity. No, identity is we can run it and we can throw it however you want it. We have access to get it done, so they should be proud of that.
And I'll be very fair. This would be an awesome win for the Packers.
It would be a great win.
Like if the Packers win, we have to start talking about them as a legit 1 seed.
A great win for Jordan Love, depending on how he performs. No Tucker Kraft, you got to show up.
Yeah, that's a tough injury for them. No Tucker Kraft. Everyone have a good weekend. Enjoy the games. We'll be back on Monday.